Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me. Yeah, why would you bet on Goliath when we got Bet David? Valuetainment, giving values contagious. This world of entrepreneurs, we get no value to haters. How they run, homie, look what I become. I'm the one.
Our guest today, Roland Martin, American journalist, and he's got a show called Roland Martin Unfiltered,
Yep.
and he's known to be the sweetest guy you'll ever meet, specifically on YouTube, interviews, just very gentle, kind.
My mom says that.
Have you always been this sweet?
Of course.
Always.
My mom says that. My dad says it.
Is it just two people? How many more?
Until I get pissed off.
Until I get pissed off.
Until folks lie to me on the air,
Yeah.
then the other side comes out.
So, Roland, let me ask you, how long have you been like this? Like, at what point were you the kid that argued every point? Were you like, Linda, you don't understand? Were you that person from
yeah.
day one? Okay.
Because it was always a pursuit of truth. And so, I mean, I remember being in it was a couple of things. I was probably in the third grade.
Yeah.
Third or fourth grade. I remember at an elementary school, it was a kindergarten teacher who these girls said I said something to them that I never said. So they go to him and they complain. And so we had this huge, it was a Vanguard magnet program. So with this huge basketball game. So it was like the Vanguard program versus the regular school. It was like the biggest game of the year. And the guy was like, he said, well, I'm believing them, so you have to apologize or you're not going to play in the game. I guess I ain't playing the game. So I literally sat there, and mind you, this is like the biggest game of the year. This is like a major deal. So my brother's, he's in the Vanguard program, and I'm dressed and everything. So I sat there for 3 periods.
Yeah.
I didn't move. I'm like, dude, I didn't say it.
How old are you? How old are you at this time?
I was in that was either 3rd or 4th grade. Probably was 4th grade. And I was like, I'm not
8, 9 years old.
I was like, I'm not moving. I mean, I didn't say it. So my whole deal is, some people be like, dude, just say I'm sorry so you can play in the game. No, I didn't say it, so therefore I'm not going to sit here and apologize. Now, when I was in 12th grade government class, it was a trip. We had Miss Joseph. She's teaching, and she says a president can't serve more than 8 years. I said, it's not true. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, that's simply not true. I said, we have empirical data that shows that. You can actually, I said, Lyndon Baines Johnson took over as president on November 22nd, 1963. He announced, he of course ran in 64. He chose not to run in 68. I said, it's very clear. You could serve more than 8 years. And so we argue back. I said, I'm sorry. I said, I know you think that you are right. I said, but it's right here. Like, what are you talking about? And so we had a test, and I wouldn't. And so I wrote it on the test, and then she marked it wrong. I'm like, you're wrong. And so then we had this follow-up exam. We had a follow-up quiz, and I think I probably had like an average of like 102 in this class for extra credit and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I said, I'm just going to mark 0 on my quiz. I said in protest, and what? It's going to drop my grade down to 101.5? And man, she was livid. And I said, look, I get it. You don't want to be wrong. But the facts are clear. JFK assassinated November 22nd. LBJ becomes president. He runs in 64. He declines in 68. I said, do the math. That's more than 8 years. Mm-hmm. And so she was like upset. And so that's the thing for me. My whole deal is, that's why I hate even when I was on CNN, I hated when they would say, someone would say something, and I'm like, they lying. and they would stand there, and they would just,
Roland, when's the last time? What was the last year you were wrong? Was it 80s? Was it 90s?
If it's happened.
No, I'm just curious.
Man, it's been a long
Come on, man.
No, because I mean,
Roland.
No, I'm seriously. I'm talking about and if I say something, I said something that was incorrect on the air the other day in the little debate. We came up from the break. I said, let me correct information I gave you. It's like boom, because.
Okay,
here's the philosophy. Here's the philosophy. If you're driving down the street or if you're watching and somebody says something and no one says anything, you go, that must be correct. No one says anything. So what happens is, especially in cable news or even on broadcast news, they will sit there and they will just let people say stuff and just slide. And I'm sitting there going, so we just gonna sit here and just let that lie just stand, and then it's kind of like, okay, now we have time. No, that was a lie. And then what they'll do is, then I hate this. Well, we'll come back and fact check the next day. No. You fact check in the moment. But the problem is, most of these people who are television anchors, they are not smart, they're not well read, and they rely on a producer to have to fact check them, provide them facts. Whereas for me, no. We're going to fact check in real time, like right now. You say something, and my whole deal is you're talking. I'm sitting there on my iPad. I remember Michael Singleton we working with the Ben Carson campaign. He goes, "No, Roland, Ben Carson has an HBCU plan." I'm like, "No, he doesn't." He's like, "I guarantee you." I'm like, "You know what, Michael? Why don't you make your point, and I'm going to sit over here and go to his website. So go ahead and finish your point." So he's talking. I'm sitting there. I'm like, "Are you done?" And I had this phrase. Shelly was my director. I would go, and so anytime my audience knew when I say, "Shelly, go to my iPad," I'm about to get in somebody's ass. It's about to happen right now. And I went, "Shelly, go to my iPad." "Sure, Michael. This is his website. This is the search box. HBCU. Click. Do you see any?" Like, it's on the screen. And he's sitting there. It's like,
oh God.
and I'm killing them. And I'm like, "Dude, I said, and we went to the break. I said, "Michael, never ever go on the air and be emphatic with something if you had not checked before you said it." And to this day, he's gotten other he thanks me because I put him on TV first. He said, "You taught me a valuable lesson." He said, "You handed my ass to him." I said, "Because you didn't fact check before it came out of your mouth."
Yeah. I mean, listen, you see that happen on a lot. And, I'd love to see a system where during elections, so we did this one debate one time where we had this guy who was she was from Normal. She was a director of Normal to legalize marijuana. And the other guy was a Navy intelligence guy, captain. And they came and we were doing this sit down 5-6 years ago. And the way we did it, which was fascinating, is every time a person gave a fact or a statement with data, the bottom would say, and then it would show red or it would say green. Yes, this is exactly what it is.
There you go.
I would love a format that both candidates, Republican, Democrat, every time they say something, a fact check. We should have the technology for people to be able to do that today.
Here's the deal, though. But you don't have to actually wait for them to say yes or no to that. Because you have these debate rules.
You just do it.
No, you just do it.
Yeah.
And so
why do you think CNN, NBC, Fox? Why do you think these guys don't do it?
Well, because it's an inside game. It's an inside game.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the game is you like the invitation. You want to invite them back, so you want to make them happy, and so you don't want to tick them off. And so the show's like, "Oh no!" So we're going to go soft, if you will, as opposed to
both sides do that.
Go hard, right? So you take September. This is September 21. I'm on ABC News this week, and Chris Christie gave his big speech at the Reagan Library. We need to move on from Trump, whatever. So we're sitting there, and again, I'm just a guest, right? Okay, I'm not a contributor. The other 3 people are contributors. George Stephanopoulos is sitting right there. And so I'm like, during the break, they said, we could talk about Chris Christie's speech. And forgot the sister. She said, "You sure we're going to talk about that?" to George. And he goes, "Yeah." Now, I'm not saying anything. Inside, I'm like, "Oh, hell yes. Bring this speech up. Please bring this speech up." So it comes up. And so George talks, and Chris is talking, and he's, taking his very high and mighty stance, and I'm sitting there, and if you go back and watch it, I'm waiting, because see, this is what I teach people: you can't be too eager to jump in, so you have to let it come to you. So he talks, and they're talking back and forth, and then she talks, and then she talks, and then George gets to me, and I turn to Chris Christie, and I say, "You have to accept the responsibility you played in creating that man." And I just went right at him. And he's like, "I ran against him in 2016, but you debate prepped him in 2020 and you support." I'm talking about, he turns red.
Roland,
mad.
to be fair, like, this is like, the one thing about politics, you saw Kamala calling out Biden immediately, and then boom, she's the VP.
Yes, George H.W. Bush called Reagan's economic policies voodoo economics,
and then boom,
right?
Yes,
but again though, you accept the fact that you did it. So remember, she
which
called,
is totally fine,
right? She called him out. She called him out, and later became VP. My problem with Christie was you're giving this huge speech like he was this problem, and I'm sitting there going, yes, but you created the monster. So it's sort of like you can't complain about the monster when you help create the monster when there was an option to say, I have convictions, morals, principles, and values. I simply cannot stand with a known liar.
Right.
And what I said is you chose politics and power over principles and patriotism.
Happens on both sides.
Right.
All the time.
Yeah.
I never said it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
The point is you have to be willing to actually say it. So when if you say, okay, I was very much against this here, now I'm for it, okay, and then if it blows up, don't try to come back and go, well, I mean, I knew this thing was going to blow up. No. You didn't stand on principle. And I think that's a huge problem today when we look at not just politics, but also business. When we have people, and I'm going back to the whole point about when I was in the kindergarten, if you have to be willing to stand on truth, knowing it's going to cost you. And when you can accept that, to me, this is just me, I'm going to sleep a lot better because I'm simply not going to just go along to get along. If I actually have conviction that this person is not it, I don't care what they do and what they promise, I can't stand with you.
Right.
Not going to happen.
So that's good that you're saying that because I like stats, I like data, okay, to go through some data. And we'll cover some of that because I truly want to get your opinion. My ideal situation would be to have a panel of folks from both sides to debate and have a conversation together civilly. I think that's the way where the audience wins, where you're able to say, here's what I believe, the other person says what I believe, and then there is the facts. Meaning,
I got a new twist for you. Not both sides.
What do you mean both?
How about you have a debate? See, again, though, this is where because I lived it. See, when it's both sides, because when I say I lived it, they would speak the truth in the green room, but when they go on the air, what happens is their tribes are watching, so they defend the tribe versus the issue. So here's what I told CNN: why don't we have some debates where you actually have two Republicans who disagree on the issue? That way, you take party out. Now becomes the issue. The problem today in most debates, we're not debating the issue. We're debating the sides. When you debate the issue, it's not you're Democrat, you're Republican, you're left, you're right, you're blue, you're red. No. What's the issue? And so when people have said to me, they're like, I've never self-identified as a Democrat or Republican. I refuse. Have I voted for Republicans and Democrats? Yes, because I look at what's this issue. I'm a huge school choice person.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had some Democrats who, and I'm like, y'all want to swing? Let's swing. And the Republicans are going, well, man, you stand with us on this issue. I'm like, no, I don't stand with you in terms of the party on the issue. I stand with the issue.
But generally,
that's the problem we have today. But we don't discuss the issue.
Well, who do you think is more united? You think Democrats are more united with each other? They may disagree behind closed doors, but they're united with each other. Or you think Republicans are more united with each other? Because
Republicans, here's why. The Democratic tent is actually a big tent. Like you literally have conservative Democrats, moderate Democrats. Yeah. You got progressive, then you got far left Democrats. Yeah. You look at ain't that many moderate Republicans, to be truth. I'm talking about they're basically non-existent in Congress. So you're either right or far right. So the Republicans, it's a lot easier when they're debating issues because you cannot be a liberal Republican. Senator Edward Brooke, the first African-American elected since Reconstruction to the United States Senate, okay, was a liberal Republican from Massachusetts, okay? There is no way today he could ever be elected. Not going to happen. In fact, if you actually look at, Ronald Reagan on a lot of stuff, on amnesty and separate, it'd be a little hard for Reagan. So Republicans are a lot easier because from an ideological standpoint, it's pretty much right, far right. That's why in the Democratic caucus, when you look at when these issues come up, it's a lot harder to bring them together to get the 218 because you got these different, you got 20 over here, you got 10 over here, and so it's a lot harder. So it absolutely is Republicans.
Okay, so let's do issues. How about let's just go on issues with today. What issues do you see Republicans presenting that you agree with? To specific issue is to African Americans. That's the main topic I want to hear. What issues do you see where Republicans come up with to say, you know what, I actually like that idea, and what do you see the left coming up, Democrats coming up with that you like?
More Republicans are willing to support the idea of school choice than Democrats because your teachers' unions are largely opposed to the expansion of school choice, and they are a significant donor to the Democratic Party. The problem I have when I'm standing with Republicans, I then go, but why? What's your motivation? In many cases, it's to destroy the unions. It ain't about the kids. So I've stood in front of folks and I said, okay, same thing with the expansion of voucher programs.
Yeah.
I go, okay, who do y'all care about? Do you care about the expansion of voucher programs to truly help the kids who need it, who are in the worst schools, or are you actually trying to help largely white suburban parents get extra money to afford to go to private schools? And I've stood at conferences and said that, and the people in the room like, damn, this the keynote? I'm like, yes, because for me, it's for those kids who are actually in the worst schools. So even though we will agree on that policy, like I had a woman who called me from Texas, and she calls Dr. Steve Perry. So he's like, I'm not from Texas, but my boy Roland is, born and raised in Texas. And so we get on the phone, and so she's like, we're trying to mobilize Black and Hispanic parents, around expansion of the vouchers program. And so she's talking, and Steve had to give me her name, and so she's just talking. And I'm like, you're going to lose. She's like, what do you mean? I said, let me ask you a question. You care about Black and Hispanic kids on the issue? She's like, absolutely. I said, why is your board all white? I said, in fact, let me ask you this question. Can you tell me the top 10 highest performing Black and Hispanic led charter schools in San Antonio, Houston, Dallas? Take your pick. She got quiet. I said, but you're calling me because you want to mobilize Hispanic and Black parents on this issue to get this voucher program passed, and you don't even know who the Black and Latino top charter schools are. So how can you? I said, so you want their voices, but you don't even know them. And she just froze. And again, I froze her because again, you're proving to me that you're not legit on this. Now, if you go on the Democratic side. Where do I stand with Democrats? Absolutely, when it comes to the issue of voter protection and voting in this country, it is the Republican playbook. Voter suppression is no doubt. The closing of polling locations, making it difficult. I mean, they've literally said it publicly. The Speaker of the House in Georgia said, if we expand ballot drop boxes and allow folks to vote absentee without an excuse, we will lose. Now, my whole deal is, how can you walk around with troops and go, oh, democracy, and they're fighting for our values, and it's the right to vote? No, every politician should want everybody to vote, and you don't create obstacles. That is the biggest one where I stand against Republicans.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but what I would say.
You can break it down to issues.
But what I would say with that too is somebody can come back and say, well, Roland, how about the fact that Democrats don't care about the border, because the more people come from the border, they tend to vote more for Democrats. So it's better for them to not talk about the border.
First of all, that assumes that somebody who's crossing the border is a registered voter when they're not. Because here's the deal.
But the Democrats want them to be able to vote and to say they also have a voice. Shouldn't they be able to vote?
But the reality is, see, now what you've done is you've now flipped it to another issue, which is the border. What I'm talking about is what is undeniable when it comes to the.
No, I didn't flip it. No, no.
Because it's not nothing to do with the border.
I didn't flip it. I asked the question from you: what policies on the right do you agree with? What policies on the left?
Right.
Then you brought up voting to say that the Republicans in Georgia want to do this. Then I brought up the fact I didn't bring up border. I'm bringing border to say that those people who come across the border many times are going to vote left and they're going to vote right.
But that's actually a wrong assumption because I'm from Texas and we see what actually happens is what you have is if you're talking about coming.
You're saying people that come across the border vote Republican?
What I'm telling you is when you look at who is coming across the border, that's first.
I run an insurance company with 40,000 agents, 54% Hispanic. I lived in LA 24 years.
And here's the question. No. But you said you live in LA. Here's the fundamental problem that people refuse to recognize when you talk about Hispanics/Latinos in America.
What percentage Hispanic vote Republican?
No. First of all, follow me here. I
know exactly where you're going to go on the Texas side.
No. It's not just the Texas side.
Okay.
The problem that we have in the country when we break down Hispanics/Latinos, and the reason I'm saying Hispanics/Latinos is because around the country you can't group everybody in the same category. What you have is you might have a different philosophy if you're talking about Venezuelan, Cuban in Florida compared to somebody who is Chicano.
Florida's true. Yes, you're right. I agree on Florida.
Hold up. Compared to Mexican Americans in Texas compared to Los Angeles. And so what you also have is a much different focus.
All you have to do is just look up and see what percentage of Hispanic vote Democrat. Can you pull it up?
No. And what I'm saying is about 65, 35.
Yeah, 64 to 65%.
Or some places 60, 40.
So there you go.
But here's the deal, though. If you're Republicans, you like that 35. What you don't have for African Americans in the case, like black women who hates the Republican Party, the top two constituencies for African Americans, the Democratic Party, are black women and black men. So if you're running, it's 35, 40%. Is a damn good number.
Oh, stop it, Roland. This.
It's not?
You're getting 65% or vote 64% right there.
Yes, and
so what are you talking about?
And if you are a Republican or the Republican Party, you also have to ask yourself, what have you done to reach a community to get them to vote for you?
Hispanics?
Yes.
They're increasing on the Republican side.
Hold up. You just said increasing.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is it increasing?
Why is it increasing?
I'm asking you.
Because the policies are helping them out.
No, it's increasing also because you have a party that actually is not taking a more proactive focus in targeting that group. If you never communicate with me or never reach out to me, guess what? I'm going to go with who normally does. And so that's the smart strategy, which is what I've actually said to Republicans for the longest. If you never talk to black people and they never see you, guess what? They ain't gonna never vote for you.
By the way, I don't disagree with that. I think if you want someone's vote, you got to go talk to them. You got to shake their hand.
And what they've done is, in the last 10 years, especially in the last 8 years, they've actually made a much more concerted effort to target Hispanics in the United States.
Do you think Democrats care about blacks more than Republicans do?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
I can't. Let me tell you.
Define care.
Here's the first thing.
Define care.
I have to first be willing to even talk to you. Republicans, by and large, they want to avoid black people. A group of black Republicans in Illinois had a meeting with the state Republican Party.
Yeah.
And they laid out, hey, there are ways that we as a party can reach out to African Americans in Illinois, in Chicago. They finished their presentation. This is the first statement that's made. Guys, look, we're not going to support welfare. Black Republicans went, who the hell brought up welfare? It wasn't even our proposal. The black Republicans were insulted. And this group of white Republicans automatically went to welfare, and they said, we didn't even bring up welfare. Why is that the one thing you brought up?
What community are you talking about? Where was this at?
It's Illinois.
Okay.
And so what I'm saying is,
and you're saying Illinois Democrats have done good for blacks in Illinois?
No, that's not what your question was. The question was this here, in terms of who is reaching out to them.
Right.
I wanted, when Mitch McConnell's book came out,
right.
I'm on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. This is the largest black morning show in the country before he retired. We're sitting here, and so I get a call, want to book him. Okay, no problem. Then all of a sudden, Mitch is not going to come on the show. Okay, he's discussing his book. Why not? This is the largest show targeting African Americans. I can tell you, I've had open invitations to Republicans to come on the show. When Alan West was in Congress, I told him about it. Alan was like, are you serious? Alan tells his press secretary.
Alan would show up.
He was on the show.
Yeah,
he was on the show.
Alan
well,
no
not always, because I called him live on the air one day. He hung up.
I don't know if you're respectful to him or not. I can tell you, Alan will show up anywhere.
No, Alan. Well, right. Well, not always, but no, Alan was respectful.
He's a gamer. He's not afraid.
Right, but not always.
You're so funny.
I'm trying to tell you.
You're
not
so
always.
funny. He may have a schedule. You're right. Not always.
No. When I called him live on the air. So Alan's on, and I tell him that. Alan goes, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yes." I said, "We have an open invitation." I said, "To the entire Republican caucus." He goes, tells his press secretary, send a note out to the whole caucus. Hey, look, you should come on this show. It's important, blah, blah, blah. 2. And the reason, other than Alan, the reason it was 2, 1 was a Republican from Texas, a Texas A&M graduate. That's why he came on. The other one was Pete Olson from Texas, who came on as well, because out of Houston. And so what happens is they avoid, in many ways, talking to African Americans. I'm never going to be able even to listen to you if you don't even talk to me. And if you ever talk to me, and I've had long conversations. I've known black Republicans my entire life. The frustration they have, you go back to Jackie Robinson and Nixon in 1960, the frustration that they have is here they are talking about being black conservative and being Republican, and the pushback and the hell they get from their own. I'm talking about we've had like serious conversations, and we're talking about individuals who have been cabinet secretaries, who have been in many layers, who are millionaires, who are donors, and they express how it drives them crazy when they do it. That was Michael Williams, who worked in the Reagan Bush administration, very good friend of mine. He was going to have a fundraiser at his house, and there was a guy running for Congress against Martin Frost in Texas, and he was campaigning. He brought J.C. Watts in and everything, and at the time, it had these black church burnings. And so Michael calls him up, and Michael said, "Hey, I think the candidate should release a statement with regards to these burning of black churches."
Yeah.
And they go, no, we're not going to do that. That's pandering. Michael said, "I'm sorry, wait a minute. But y'all brought Congressman J.C. Watts in to tour with you to black churches on Sunday." He's like, "What the hell do you call that?" So Michael's wife, Donna said, because they went to a fundraiser at Michael and Donna's house. Donna said, "Ain't no man who's unwilling to speak against the burning of black churches welcome in my house. You let them know. No statement. He will not step foot in this house for a fundraiser." You
still haven't answered my question.
I'm telling no. I'm laying out to you examples
of
how
question,
Republicans won't even talk. So therefore, the only place we can talk to you is Democrats, and that's one reason why Republicans have largely lost.
So that is your okay. So let's say that's true. Let's say
no, it's true. Not.
For you, it is.
I've been black. Hold up, I've been black for 54 years, and I have spent I have run black-owned media outlets, getting Republicans to even talk to black people, show up at forums. My parents were founders of a civic club. I'm telling you, not my opinion, what I've literally experienced and what black Republicans, and even what I've had conversations about this with white Republicans.
But I got a follow-up for you. So, in other words, Democrats are only ones that had the votes of blacks since 1964, okay? 88% was 94% in 64.
It flipped in 64.
And it's now 88%, 86%, 90%, right?
Yep.
So if blacks have had, if Democrats have had that vote since 64, that's 60 years, 59 years to be exact. How come blacks haven't made major progress if Democrats care about blacks as much as they do?
Well, first of all, that's an actually flawed question, because when you say haven't made major
progress. What kind of progress have they made?
No, let me allow unpack.
I would love to
unpack
hear.
that. So when you look at what you coming out of 1960s, then you go to 1970s, when you begin to see your first wave of black mayors across the country, Marion Barry in D.C., Maynard Jackson in Atlanta, Coleman Young in Detroit. Of course, previously you had Gary Hatcher in Gary, Indiana. What you saw for the first time was African Americans being able to access economic capital in this country. Maynard Jackson gets elected in 73. African Americans were receiving 0.0012% of all city contracts in Atlanta. I didn't say 1%. I didn't say 0.5%. I didn't say 0.12. They were 0.0012% of all city contracts. Maynard Jackson comes in. He says, ain't going to happen, not when you have a city that the significant number of African Americans. The reason Atlanta is called the Black Mecca today, because economically, you're part of that particular process. When you talk about Prince George's County being called today the richest black county in the country based upon home values, a lot of that is because of, again, contracting opportunities that came when Mayor Barry was mayor, and then coming out of that. Now, what you have, and when you're talking about the black community, and when you're looking at overall, you have to look at the fact of the matter is this here. African Americans have been technically fully free Americans for only 53 years. 53. 64 Civil Rights Act, 65 Voting Rights Act, 68 Fair Housing Act, and you still were dealing with being locked out. Okay. When you look at it, look, it comes to money. If you're not having a money conversation in America, you ain't having a real conversation. And so when you talk about 400 plus years, and you're only being technically free 53 years, and you've been locked out consistently out of corporate America. I have actually met, which is sad, individuals who were the first African Americans to ever work at major companies, and they got there in 72, 73, 75, 78. Perfect. And you're like, what the heck? So when you've been locked out economically, which has an impact on every single factor place in America, housing, health, education, then you see where we are today. But has there been progress? Yes. Has there been enough progress? No.
Roland, so if I can finish my question.
Yep.
Okay. I'll let you go, but you got to let me finish my question.
Go ahead.
Okay. So if we have a leadership team running an insurance company for 5 years, and the company isn't growing, you're going to sit there and say, okay, cool. Hey, you know what? You guys don't go talk to the employees. We do. Great. That doesn't mean you're good to the employees. That just means you're going out there to talk to the employees and to brag about the fact that you're talking to the employees. Let's give them 5 more years. Let's give them 10 more years. Let's give them 20 more years. Let's give them 53 years. Fast forward today, if you can pull up this article, you're a data guy. 27 of the top 30 crime-ridden cities in America ran by Democrats.
Yep.
If they are all about blacks, why are their policies ruining great communities?
Question for you. Pull it back up.
Yeah.
What's the root cause of it?
What is it?
No, I'm asking you. No. You raise it up. No. You said 27 of the top 30 crime-ridden cities.
You're the expert.
No. Here's the deal, though. If
I'll read the article for you. Pull it up.
If you're going to ask the question, what I need you to do is I need you to then go, okay, what actually, looking at those communities, what actually happened in those areas? You brought up Chicago. Lived there 6 years. What is it?
You tell us.
No. See, here's the deal, though. This is
I'm giving up statistics.
No,
you're giving statistics.
You're giving stats.
This is 27 out of 30, which you like. You like stats and facts.
I'm giving you stats, but here's
nothing
the deal.
about what I said is not a fact. I'll read it
to
you.
But here's the failure.
As of June 22nd. Okay, go to the top. I'll read the entire article for you.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
That's what you're asking me.
No, that's not what I'm asking you.
A new report shows that Democrat policies in cities and counties are responsible for rising crime rates in their otherwise red states.
What are the policies?
The Heritage Foundation today. Whatever the policies are is Democratic policies.
No. What are the policies?
Whatever the policies are, I don't need to know the policies.
Yes, you do.
No, I do not. I don't need to know the policies. All I need to know is if you.
So you're saying Democratic policies, but what are the policies?
But wait a minute. If I give you and I vote for you and you're supposed to take care of me, why are 27 out of top 30 cities in American crime ran by Democrats? Why?
First, I will tell you. First of all, it's where African Americans are living. So let's bring up Chicago in particular. What you have had in Chicago is you've had some of the greatest racial segregation, not in 20 years, not in 30 years, but literally in 100 plus years.
Led by Democrats.
No, hold on. Here's the deal, though. Okay, I will show you how Mississippi has the largest percentage of black people in America, run by Republicans, broke as hell. Explain that. Explain me the highest. Tell me when you have. Hold on. Wait.
Don't spin.
No, I'm not spinning.
Don't change.
But I'm showing you.
Let's stay on topic.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
Let's stay on topic.
We're
the
on
topic
topic.
is crime 27 out of 30, not economic. Economic is a different story.
No, it's not.
But I agree with you that we need to get the financial situation.
No. And you're making the mistake.
You went to Mississippi. No, you're making the mistake.
No. Here's the mistake you're making.
27 out of 30.
Here's the mistake you're making. When you say crime, I just obliterated a black conservative in my show on this whole issue. When you say crime, you have to then say, okay, what creates crime? No, what creates crime? What creates crime?
When people are not doing well financially.
What else?
Your surrounding and environment, who you're around.
No, what else?
Pick up habits.
What else?
Bad policies.
No. What else? See, you're jumping to policies.
But it is bad policies. Wait a minute.
No.
If I lead a company, Roland,
the underpinning. Hold on, wait.
If I run a company and I'm the CEO of the company, if the company improves or doesn't improve is based on my policies. I'm the head running the company, the department. If it doesn't improve, it's because of me.
So let me.
What else would it be?
So let me lay it out to you again.
Go for it.
When you talk about what is the underpinning of crime, John Hope Bryant, founder of Operation Hope, this is what he said. He said, "Show me a community where you've seen a riot with a credit score of 700 or higher." The reality is, when you talk about crime in this country, you're talking about economics, you're talking about education, you're talking about housing, you're talking about health. Mm-hmm. Show me areas where you do not have high crime. I'm going to show you areas that don't have the same, aren't as compacted. That's first. What you have is, when you talk about crime in places, you then look at what are the numbers of people there, what are the pockets there, what are those communities, and how did those communities, how were they created literally not over 20, 30 years, but literally over 50, 75, 100 years. Now, that was Jim Crow.
How many years does it take to change?
What are you talking about?
How many years does it take to create change? How long does it take to create change?
First of all, you're talking about a black in America.
How long does it take to create change?
When you have had, okay, walk through 243 years of slavery, 92 years of Jim Crow, and then you get to 1970 when you are technically fully free, you can't act like all of that before did not impact. The issues that you're having now have to do with not Democratic or Republican policies. It has to do with literally white supremacy and Jim Crow in America. We are still, to act as if we are still not dealing with that. How did housing discrimination take place in this country? Do you know who created it? The realtors. They apologize for it.
Why are you going away from the question?
No, because Roland, here's the deal, though. You don't want to deal with what creates crime areas.
You got to realize this. Listen,
I'm dealing with the real truth. How they create it. What you're dealing with is, there are Democratic areas. What I'm dealing with is how do you deal with the historical reality of neighborhoods that simply can't be just, we elected one person and they're just going to change it.
Roland,
doesn't work that way.
Roland, I'm Middle Eastern, okay? I was born in Iran, 10 years. My mother's a communist. My dad's an imperialist. We escape. We go to Germany. I lived at a refugee camp for 2 years, okay, with people who are Yugoslavian, Czech, Albanian at the time, and they're all leaving for a reason. I come to the States, okay? I'm a welfare baby. I'm a food stamp baby.
Okay.
Just letting you know, my parents are divorced twice in 20 years. I'm going to Glendale High School. I have a lunch ticket I would sell because I don't have any money. I'm 6'1", 130 pounds. That should tell you the fact that we don't come from a lot of money. One day, I'm in the school, and my teacher starts talking about politics. Up until that point, when I think about politics, all I think about is divorce. Because I think about my mom and dad arguing all the time. I have a lot of pain linked to politics at the time. And the teacher's going to be a Democrat because she's presenting how rich people are this rich. I'm like, okay, great, rich people are bad. So I come home.
I obviously
13-1. That's the number. That's
dude. I had a whole lot of damn Republican teachers in my life.
Well, I like stats, and the stats are 13-1 is Democrats to Republican. You know the stats. So I come home and I say, Mom, are we Republicans or Democrats? And she said, we're Democrats. I said, tell me why. She says, because the Democrats are for the poor, Republicans are for the rich. So my mom says. You know what I told her? I said, when I grow up, I want to be a Republican. Not because I want to be a Republican. I don't know what the policies are.
So first of all, who's actually for the rich and the poor? Who?
Who is for the rich and the poor?
She said it. She said Republicans for the rich, Democrats are for the poor. Is that you say you love? Is it true or not?
First of all,
is it true or not?
Whether that's true, statistically, more rich people are on the Democratic side today than the Republican side.
But no. You say who are for, not who's rich, but who are they for the policy?
But Roland, this is you. You're smart.
No, your mom said it.
I understand, but you're a smart guy, bro. Listen, when I watch you, you're not a dummy. You're very smart, okay? So sometimes John Maxwell says something very important that I completely held to myself. And every time I break this, I don't like it. He said, the moment you learn sales and you learn persuasion, okay? The moment you learn the ability how to persuade, you, me, we learn how to persuade. He says, be very careful to not go one step above that, which is to manipulate just to win all arguments, because you can. You can win any argument if you want to. You can play devil's advocate and flip the argument, play the Republican side, and you make one hell of an argument to beat a Democrat, because you can do that. You have the ability, I have the ability as well. I don't want to do that. What I'm asking you right now is the following. Results. Today,
yes.
27 out of 30 cities that are ran by Democrats are the highest crime in America. That's stats.
And what states are those in? What are those states?
The states are different than the community.
New York, Chicago, LA.
But that's not the thing. The state is the community. The city is where.
What are you talking about?
The city you're in is what you can touch. Every year you come up and you say, "Re-elect me. I can help."
The state. Listen, I am born and raised in Texas, Houston, Clinton Park. To act as if. What? No.
Oh, so then what you're saying is, let's stop voting for mayors. They're a waste of time.
No, see,
because they can't do anything.
First of all, I didn't say that. Let me finish my thought. I am born and raised in Houston, Texas. Grew up in Clinton Park neighborhood. To act as if what happens in Austin does not have an impact on Houston is crazy.
You're making excuses now.
No, I'm not.
You're making excuses.
Okay, here's the deal, though. See. It's real easy to say it's excuses when I'm stating facts. And the point I'm stating is...
That's not a fact. That's just an opinion.
No, it's a fact. The state of Texas significantly has an impact economically, educationally on what happens in Houston. That's a fact.
Yeah, but...
As somebody who, as a kid, traveled with my mom to rallies and events with the Metropolitan Organization at the state capitol, I understand
Did you grow up rich?
Who?
Did you grow up rich?
No, my parents didn't even go to college.
How are you rich then?
What do you mean how?
How are you rich?
Here's how.
How are you rich?
No, here's how.
Yeah.
Because first and foremost, the neighborhood that I grew up in it was one of the first master plan communities by HUD. What you had in my neighborhood was you had folks, first of all, I had mom and dad, one, who also
married
who
together.
also hell yeah, they're still married, 56 years. Who absolutely believed in education. Now, what I recognize is, so for me, in my household, what my parents emphasized, never went to college. Then my brother went to Texas A&M. I went to Texas A&M. My sister went to Texas A&M. And so that was our house. What I recognize is that somebody who is next door or across the street or around the corner did not have the situation that I had. Now, I totally get that. What I don't do is be arrogant enough to say, well, I did this, why can't you? Because I understand that not everyone has the exact same setup, the same situation. What I'm talking about, and this is again.
But why not give that story of inspiration to say you can get out of it?
First of all, you say, why not? I'm sorry. You clearly have never watched my show when what I talk about consistently are these very issues. I don't sit here and go do doom and gloom. First of all, every single Tuesday on my show, I feature actual black-owned businesses. Every single Wednesday, I feature African-Americans who have tech companies.
I love that.
Every Friday, I actually feature something called Education Matters, folks who are in the education space, school choice. I got HBCU Connect. So I do all of that. But one second.
But you know why I said that? Let me tell you why I said that. Because you said, I'm not the one that says, look at me, I got out, so can you. That's what you said.
No. Here's why I say that. Because it is arrogant when, as an individual, I'm assuming everyone else's situation is the same. That's first. Two, it's also arrogant to then not actually study and look at how from a macro level. See, you're describing a micro level. You can always have that singular individual or this person or that person or this family. That's micro. What I'm talking about is macro issues. And what I'm saying is when I look at communities, that's not micro, that's macro. Even within the African American community, when you dealt with Jim Crow, you couldn't live anywhere else. You literally could not live anywhere else. Bottom line is if you were black and had money, and then you were black and broke, you were literally living in the same neighborhood. After Jim Crow ends with integration, what then happened? Those African Americans who were middle class, upper middle class, began to move away. What then began to happen was you had areas where poverty increased even more so.
Why move away, though? Why move away?
Because
if you care about the community, why not stay there and change it?
Well, first of all, does anybody else move?
What do you mean?
Who the hell else don't move? How do you think suburbs were created?
But wait a minute.
What do you mean? How do you think white flight was created? So everybody else get to move, but we can't move?
But if you act like you care about the community as much as you do, stay there.
But I'll answer your question. Do you know why? Because when African Americans were living in black neighborhoods, they also had economically depressed housing values, and the reality is they were not able to
change it. Help change it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, hold on.
I'll give you an idea. Are you familiar with Palmdale?
I'm going to need you to be drug tested. Seriously.
Yeah.
Do you even know today, we've done the stories in Florida, when somebody's black selling their house, the appraisers will come in and literally give them a value $100,000 to $300,000 less because they're black? You know that's actually happened, right?
You'll take one story and say that.
Oh, my God.
On how many occasions has that happened?
Are you serious?
Do you think a message like
Okay, why don't you go ahead and Google? Why don't you go ahead and Google?
How many times has that happened? No, I believe it's happened, but how many times has that happened?
The New York Times literally just did a story talking about the systemic racism that exists within housing appraisals. This is a fundamental problem. I'm trying to see you're living in a different reality.
What progress are you making by saying that?
What progress?
So what you're doing?
I'm trying to end that. Okay. Do you know how inherent? Okay, hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
You're trying to.
Hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
I am. Yes.
How would you feel? How would you feel?
Yes.
If you're selling your home, you've got a home that you know,
right?
And you put upgrades in it, and you know your home is worth $500,000.
Yeah.
And somebody comes into your home, and they see your photos,
right?
And they see your family, and then they go back and they go $350,000. You go, what the hell?
So you tell that story.
Wait, one second.
To get people to be convinced that's happening?
It's actually
out of 1,000 appraisals.
Oh my God.
Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times has that happened? Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times has that happened?
You want to pull that up?
Tell
you want him to pull that up?
That's your world, though. Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times has that happened? Let's just say it happens.
It is a significant issue in America.
Oh my God!
And wait, one second. And then when the woman, a black person should not have to remove their photos from the wall and remove black art and remove black books to have a white appraiser then come in and go, oh, it's actually $550. One second, because I'm going to show you how it impacts generationally.
Here we go.
So when you follow me here, because this is housing in America. When you then get that lower appraisal, you then cannot sell your house for the higher value, which then means you are not then taking those proceeds and being able to invest, being able to send your kids to school. And what I'm trying to explain to you is there is a world out here that for some reason you're like living in Unity world that ain't the real America.
Brother,
I'm trying to get rid of that stuff.
You have the wrong guy here. I'm
trying to get rid of it.
Okay, good for you. I am as well. But you have the wrong guy here. And here's what I mean by that. So when you ask the question, what do you do if they appraise your house $350,000 less, right? That's your question. Okay. I don't see myself as a victim. I stopped looking at myself as a victim a long time ago. And by the way, being Armenian and Assyrian, you know what a lot of people in the Armenian community do? You know what a lot of people in the Armenian community do? They sell victimhood mentality. I'm raised with that, which is the statement of mechka. I know you don't know what the word mechka means. Mechka means, oh, poor Roland. Oh, poor PBD. I don't see myself as a victim. And the other part is when you use one story as an example to divide and get people even angrier because out of 1,000 appraisals this happened one time, I don't think you're unifying when you say a statement like that to say, hey, this is what's taking place all the time. But going back to it, so you left because you wanted better economic situation for yourself.
Listen to what you just said. Again,
I'm having a hard time listening to what you just said when you're saying
it's so fundamentally flawed because when you say, "Oh my God," you see yourself as a victim.
You do.
No,
you're selling it as a victim.
No, I'm not. What I'm selling is a reality. What I'm selling is when this is again. Since I guess you couldn't pull it up. Okay.
Oh, he did pull it up.
Okay, the Biden administration, the Federal Housing and Finance Agency released 47 million appraisal reports to the public for the first time. The appraisals, which were compiled between 2013 and 2021, present evidence of a persistent, widespread practice in the home appraisal industry to give higher values to homes when the occupants are white and devalue them if the owners are people of color.
That's such bullshit. That's such bullshit. You know why?
Hold up.
Let me tell you why that's such bullshit.
They actually took the reports and showed the data, and now you call it bullshit.
Of course I call it bullshit.
So you asked for the data and the facts.
No.
And now you give your opinion because you don't like the facts.
Bro.
Come on, man.
Do you run a company?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so when you run a company, how much shit can I find in the OPEX? How much
in the what?
With OPEX. When I go into my balance sheet and I look at my expenses, my monthly expenses, what I'm paying for, rent, employees, benefits, workers' comp, I can give a number and say, we lost $280,000 this year. And it's like, oh my God, we lost $280,000. And then I open up the balance sheet and then boom, I'll see you're moving your face like you don't know what I'm talking about.
First of all,
when I see a data like this, tell me the whole story. To jump to conclusion with something like this without seeing the entire story is ludicrous to make a comment like that. But
analyzing the millions of appraisals by using census tracts as a proxy for neighborhoods and comparing communities with nearly identical housing stock, two researchers found that the results showed a clear correlation. The higher the proportion of white residents in each community, the higher the appraised value of individual homes. They compared similar data. See, again, you want to reject the facts. And what I'm trying to explain to you is I am refusing to constantly have people give data without me having access to the entire thing for their own benefit to divide So what you're saying is in order for you need access to the 47 million home appraisals.
I'd love to see
yourself.
I would love to see it.
Okay, guess what? It's a federal agency. File a FOIA.
I'd love to see it.
File a FOIA.
But here's file a what?
A FOIA.
Okay, so I'd love to see it. You know why? Here's the part. How often do you see data being used and we don't know the whole story? Both sides. How often?
Well, first of all, we see data out there, but what I'm saying, I'm looking at data, actual data, and I'm also looking at a reality. And here's what I'm saying to you. And again, this is what you, for some reason, you're not fully accepting. What is the most consistent way Americans have been able to actually build wealth? It has been through housing. That's been historical. And when you are black in America, this is not an opinion. This is not a perspective. It is a fact. What we have seen is when you have been unable to enter the housing industry, meaning covenants saying you can't sell to black people, then when you actually buy a home and they've been grossly undervalued, that then limits you from being able to sell your home at a higher value and now take the profits and then create a business and then be able to send your kids to college. And what I'm saying to you is when that has been persistent, when you look at the appraisals, one, when you look at inability where you're buying a house, two, all of a sudden now you see a clear way how African Americans have been impacted, not historically, but still in present day. And what I'm saying to you is, whether you are Democrat or Republican, I want that to change because what I want you've
had 53 years. The Democrats
when Republicans were president and in charge, they didn't change this.
Wait a minute. Democrats have had the black vote for 53 years. What have you done?
You're not even answering the question.
What's that?
On this issue right here, Roland, is Democrat, Republican, independent. It is a systemic American problem.
You still haven't answered my basic question. I asked you about 27 out of 30 cities. You blame the state.
No. I answered the question.
What did you say?
I said to you, you show me high crime areas. I am explaining to you how they're high crime areas. And what I'm saying...
None of it has to do with their policies.
What?
High crime cities in America, none of it has to do with Democrats running those cities.
And you can't even name the policy. What policy? Give me 3 Democratic policies.
The point is you can't name the policy.
Oh
this is your world.
It's
right. If I'm in the business world and you ask me a question.
Well, Pat, ending cash bail, defunding the police, which is in our faces, refusing to prosecute categories of crimes, letting thousands of convicted felons out on prison release, the prison population.
So that right there. That's the reason for high crime in the last 20 years.
No, I'm just saying that's the article from from New York Times.
You still haven't answered.
No. I'm actually answering.
Yeah.
And here's the whole deal. First of all, when you talk about the issue of ending cash bail, that's actually only been very recent. 2, ain't no defund the police. The reality is you have seen a major increase in funding of police.
Democrats defund the police 2 years ago for an entire year.
That's a flat out lie. There were individuals.
You can say that with a straight look on your face.
I can tell you right now. I have actually talked directly.
So who came up with defund the police?
Who came up with
it?
Activists did.
Right. Activists were Republicans or Democrats?
They were activists. First of all, they hate both parties. You don't even talk to them.
But
I do.
But the Democrats in Congress were repeating it.
No.
AOC
Stop. AOC, who else? You said the Democrats in Congress. How many Democrats in Congress oppose defund the police?
A lot. But I'm saying there were still some in Congress saying you're repeating the rhetoric.
You just said some. Hell, I could quote Louis Gohmert and some crazy stuff that he says and go, well, you know what? That's Republicans. The reality is this here. Democrats, Democratic mayors, Democratic governors, and yes, Democratic president have greatly increased funding of police in this country. Ain't even a question. So you can holler, the Democrats defund the police when it shows. They've actually increased the funding.
Show the video.
They've increased the funding.
You asked for it.
Yeah.
You asked for it. Show the video.
Which video now?
Show the video. I just emailed you. I just texted to you.
Because who we got? Don Lemon, Charles Barkley.
Democrats haven't said defund the police at all because they would never
say that.
No, you said Democrats haven't said it. Activists said that. Your word.
No. You said who created the phrase. I said it was activists that created the phrase.
Who came up with the concept of defunding the police?
Activists did.
And then which credible Democrats said defund the police?
There were some Democrats.
No, not some. These are some heavy duty ones.
No.
Make it bigger.
No.
Make it bigger.
When Democrats controlled Congress, how many votes they had?
Here you go.
When Democrats control Congress, how many votes did they have?
You like Nancy Pelosi?
When Democrats control Congress, how many votes did they have? How many votes did they have?
What's your point?
The point is this here.
Pause it so we can start from the beginning.
Did 223 Democrats vote to defund the police?
Press
No.
play.
Answer the question. Yes or no?
I want you to see this. I want you. You're asking. I'm showing you data because you asked for this.
No, you're showing me some Democrat who spoke on defund the police.
The most credible
mental
ones.
Health issues or policing in schools and all the rest. That perhaps we can shuffle some of that money around.
Suck it up. Defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Not only do we need to
No.
That's two.
No, that's two. That's only two. No, that's only two.
Dismantle the Minneapolis
that's only two.
Department.
That's just
So yes, defund your
Same
butts.
person.
Defund you.
Yes, I support the reallocation of resources.
3.
No, that's not defund.
You're taking the reallocating money is defunding.
No, because I'm about to check you.
Initiatives and social
services.
They are talking about
5 now.
reducing
No, it's not.
the allocation of resources to that department.
You're
And I think
defunding them.
every
You're
single
wrong.
How's that
citizen
wrong?
in this
You're
country ought to be
wrong.
thinking about the
Explain
same
that to
thing.
me.
Yes, I support the defund.
That's 3.
That's the keep
gonna
That's
going.
keep
3.
going?
Oh,
Now, let me explain to you.
How many more you want me to say?
No. So let me explain to you.
That's 5.
No, it's 3.
That's 5.
So yeah, I mean the spirit of it.
So pause
only 3.
Pause it.
Roland, it kept
By the way,
going. It
would
kept
you?
going.
Okay, hold on, right there. What does reallocate mean?
Would you like me to
Taking money
continue
away.
this?
No, it's no.
Reallocating is
Don't
taking
spin
money.
again.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Do you understand? Do you understand that in a significant number of cities in this country,
Right.
where you have policing who do everything, okay? You have in some cities where the police are handing out parking tickets, where the police are doing duties that had nothing to do with the streets. When you say reallocate, what that says is, okay, why should we have police handing out parking tickets? Why don't we have them doing the major function of fighting crime? Why don't we actually have this unit that handles that? That's called reallocation. When you talk about the issue of mental illness,
You're spinning, Roland.
No, I'm not. I'm stating facts.
You're spinning.
First of all, let me ask both of you a question. Have either one of you actually covered City Hall before?
No.
No. Go to. No. I'm giving you. You want facts? Here's the deal. I actually have been a city hall reporter. I have actually been in the city meetings. When you talk about,
why don't you just say you were wrong? Why don't
I'm
you
not
just
wrong.
say Democrats were wrong?
Because I'm not wrong. Because you're wrong.
No,
but hold up, Roland.
Wait a minute. Hang
Explain to me reallocation. Hold up, Mr. CEO.
Yeah.
When you're in a company and when you reallocate funds from one unit to the other, are you cutting funding or are you simply adjusting?
Why do you have a hard time just saying they said it? Why do you have a hard time? By the way, I
actually counted three people who said the words defund.
If you allowed it, you would have heard them saying defund the police. Wait a
minute. I literally heard Nancy Pelosi say shuffle. I heard Kamala Harris say reallocate. You go, oh, that's defund. You actually have a reallocation of resources that exist in city government, county government, state government, federal government every single day. But for some reason, you don't want to deal with that. Yeah. Was it spin when I told you that Democratic mayors and governors and the president, they've greatly increased police funding? Why? Hold up. Can you acknowledge that as a fact?
Roland,
hold up. Can you acknowledge it as a fact?
If I sit with you and you can't acknowledge.
Can you acknowledge as a fact?
And you can't acknowledge that your side of the party.
It's not my side.
Support it.
See, that's right there. See, you're yelling your side.
I'm not yelling my side. I'm a registered independent.
Here's the whole deal, though. First of all, in Texas, I don't have to register as anything.
You still are not going to acknowledge the fact that the defund the police concept was brought up
by
and
activists,
constantly reaffirmed by some of the most powerful Democrats in America.
The Speaker of the House said
in America,
shuffling of funds. That is not defunding.
If you would have...
The Vice President, Kamala Harris said reallocation. That is not...
But Ilhan Omar said not only defund, she said dismantle. If she's a member of Congress, how many people are listening to that?
Stop. That's one member of Congress, right?
Oh, but you want to let the whole thing play.
There's a 7-minute video.
You want to let the whole thing play?
First of all, show me... Here's the deal. Show me 218 who defended that and actually voted for it to happen. Please. You can't. You know why?
Stop.
Because they didn't.
This is where credibility is lost.
What are you talking about?
Credibility is lost if
this is utterly hilarious. I am stating an undeniable fact.
Understand.
Democratic mayors, Democratic governors, Democratic president.
Raising your voice doesn't validate your argument.
Has increased funding. Yeah. Mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago took actual COVID funds and shifted $20 million to the police department to deal with the mental issues that they were having. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that reallocation?
Maybe one of the worst mayors in America.
She took COVID money.
Yeah.
Hold up. COVID money and reallocated for that. Oh, but reallocation works when you agree with it.
Roland.
What I'm trying to explain to you is when you say defund, that means cut.
You can
defund means cut.
Do you remember earlier when I said there's a difference between persuasion and manipulation? You can spin any argument.
I'm not spinning.
You're very good at debating. You're very good at raising your voice, interrupting all that stuff.
No,
I've watched you for years.
I just think it's hilarious
but
that both of you will say that the Democratic Party has supported defund the police when the
I didn't say supported.
When the fact of the matter is,
I said the Democratic Party came up with the idea of defunding the police,
and you're wrong.
And they supported it.
You're actually wrong.
You've not heard Republicans say defund the police. You've not heard.
Actually, you're actually wrong. In Senator Tim Scott's policing bill that he released in 2021, in the bill, I will happily send it to you.
What did he say?
He actually said.
What did he say?
You want me to read it?
I want to hear it.
No, I'm going to read it. Hold up.
Let me guess. He said reallocate.
No. That's not what he said. Because, see, what you don't understand is.
But here's what we're going to do.
No. Hold on. When the George Floyd Justice Act.
Play the entire
When the George Floyd Justice Act
failed. Play the
failed,
entire clip.
I literally sent this. I sent this to Senator Tim Scott, and he didn't answer my question.
When we were running for office. And I answered yes to that question.
We are going to reduce funding in the police department and redirect that money.
Is that a smart move?
There's no
reduce funding?
The police budget should just keep growing and growing and growing. They can
what did they do?
Cuts to police.
We propose
police cuts is a good thing.
No, it wasn't cuts.
$7 million from the
he just said that.
You don't even know what London Breed did. You don't know what she did in San Francisco.
No, that wasn't a she. That was a guy.
London Breed was speaking before her.
In cuts. Rashida Tlaib tweeting.
Are cuts a good thing?
No more policing, incarceration, and militarization.
Police cuts are a good thing in these communities.
If they're not doing their job.
What do they say?
Oh my God! So
we want fundamental.
Right here. No. You said to me. You said, oh. Show me a Republican when Senator Tim Scott introduced his bill, okay, on police reform. This is one of the things that he did. When it failed last year, he went on Margaret Brennan's show, CBS Face the Nation. He said, the Democrats wanted to defund the police, and that was a bridge too far. In Senator Tim Scott's own bill, they actually said, in order for police to qualify for these funds, laws will have to be passed on the city or the state level. Excuse me.
Oh my God! So you buy that into defund the police, but we need to reduce it. It's not.
See right there. You won't even.
You're so funny.
You won't even listen,
buddy. If there's anybody who doesn't listen, it's you.
No, you listen. Senator Tim Scott said that they won't get the funds if laws don't get passed.
That's defund the police.
When the George Floyd. Listen,
hey, you're a master spinner.
No. First of all, if you listen, I'm telling you what he did. He then, a year later, calls that same thing
respect,
defund the police. And I literally, and if you want to see it, those are the text messages.
You're so funny.
I sent to Senator Tim Scott, and I said, Senator Tim Scott, please explain to me the difference between what you said the Democrats are doing, what you did.
You just hurt your argument even more.
What are you talking about?
Because what you just did is validated everybody else what they just said.
No.
Yes.
See,
that means what Kamala said, what Nancy Pelosi said. They're all saying the same thing, defund the police. And now they realize it was a bad idea.
She did not say defund the police.
Of course. He did not either.
Oh, wait a minute. So you say what Kamala said was defund the police.
Your argument, you just screwed yourself up.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Of course you did.
No, I was specifically calling out Senator Tim Scott by trying to call something defund the police when they were simply proposing exactly what he did.
You know what's the problem? Here's the problem, Roland. The problem is when I sit down with somebody with whatever thing they believe in, okay, it's specifically a lot on the Democratic side. It's specifically.
It's a lot on the Democratic side.
It is being a Democrat before their country. It is how they vote before America. It is, nope, I'm going to defend this because there's no way these guys going to say anything wrong with defund the police. And that's where you lose credibility. All you have to say is,
you have no,
I don't acknowledge this. I don't support this. That's all you have to say.
You have no credibility on this when you can't even acknowledge what reallocation means. You have no credibility when you can't even define that. When I have actually talked to mayors and city council members, and they have walked through how. When London Breed, when the
policies have destroyed the cities.
Here you go. We're
destroyed the cities.
Destroying the cities.
53 years Democrats have had to vote.
When the mayor of San Francisco talked about the mental illness crisis in their particular city, and they said we need to be sending mental health folks out on calls and not always the cops. Now, we've seen numerous examples where that happens. What has actually happened in the last 30 or 40 years in Democrat and Republican cities and states in the country? We've seen a massive cut with mental illness. What is the greatest increase of incidents?
Again.
No,
Spin
I'm not.
Again.
I'm stating fact. Yeah. What you don't like, what you refuse to acknowledge or accept, because you're stuck on Democrats have had it for 53 years. You act as
asking you.
No, wait, hold up. You act as if in those 53 years, Republicans have never had power. You act as if Republicans have never had the House or the Senate or the White House.
Here's what I said to you.
So here's the question.
I said to you.
Show me how the Republicans
There's no way
changed.
to talk with you, bro. I got to tell you. So
show me how Republicans changed.
So here's what I tell you.
Give me examples.
Are you going to let anybody speak?
I'm waiting for your examples.
If you have 92% of an entire community's vote.
Like the evangelicals?
For 60 years.
Like the evangelicals?
Evangelicals are also part of that black vote. If you have 92%.
You actually don't understand evangelicals, black evangelicals.
If you have 92% of the black vote for 59 years, 59 years later, 27 out of 30 cities for crime are ran by Democrats, your policies don't work.
And let me ask you this question.
People have to revisit.
I'm going to ask you again.
Let me finish and I'll let you
Go
talk.
ahead.
You either have to consider new policies or the voters have to consider a new party.
And let me ask you this question. When Republicans have been in charge of the House, the Senate, the White House, or the governor's mansion, or state rep and state senators, or the legislature, because 31 states right now, they control both chambers, a significant number of them in the South, where the majority of black people are. Please show me empirical data how the lives of black people have fundamentally changed under Republican rule. I'll wait.
Do you know who started getting more votes from the black community? Do you know who? Your favorite guy. Do you know who? Who? Your best friend.
No, go ahead and say it.
Donald Trump.
Got it.
Yeah. Do you know who started?
No. Hold on.
Oh, you don't like that?
No. First of all, I discussed it on my show. Nice try. But I want you to answer my question.
What does that have to do with on your show?
I want you to answer my question.
People don't watch your show. Say it here.
I want you to answer my question.
Yeah.
I want you to answer my question.
Sure.
Republicans control all 3 branches in South Carolina.
Yeah.
They control Georgia. They control Mississippi. They control Arkansas. They control Tennessee. So they control the legislature in North Carolina. So since you make, I'm going to use your argument. Please show me how the lives of African Americans are drastically improved in those places where Republicans completely control than other places. Show me. Give me an example.
Roland, if you would have answered any of my questions.
Oh, my God.
If you would have answered any of my questions in the last hour and a half.
You don't like the answer.
No, it's not. I don't like the answer.
You don't like the answer.
You say, tell me the policies. I'm asking you the policies.
Oh, so you don't.
I'm asking.
So I can't ask you a question. You can't give an answer.
You can, but I would like. I brought you here. Invite me on your show, and I'll give you the answer.
No,
because I'm the guest.
Wait.
I brought you on the show.
Well, first of all, even on my show, if somebody asks me a question, hell, I answer the question. I've answered your questions. You still can't answer it. And the reason why you can't answer.
We've been an hour and 20 minutes now. You still haven't answered the question.
Actually, I have.
You have not.
Actually, I have.
What policy?
Here's why you haven't answered.
You blame the state.
No.
You blame surrounding cities. You blame Republicans. That's what you blame.
No.
For 50, and I tell you, for 59 years.
First of all, systemic racism is a policy because it's actually ingrained in our system. That's first. What I'm also saying to you is, what I recognize is, how do we fix these, again, institutional long-range issues?
How do we fix them?
First and foremost, we got to stop denying that it's a problem, which you have done.
Oh, no.
That's first.
I just showed you it is a problem. 27 out of 30. It is a problem.
We've got to stop.
It's a big problem.
Stop denying the
59 years Democrats have had the vote.
You sat here and denied the systemic reality of racism in the housing appraisal industry by going, I need to see the 47 million. You just denied it. And I'm
1,000,000% I need to see the data.
And I
1,000,000% I need to see the data.
Here's the deal.
And by the way, you're giving a little too much credibility to New York Times.
Here's the deal. Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to pull up what? First of all, you gave it the Heritage Report. You read a New York Times report citing the Heritage Foundation. Dude, really?
Wait, you're telling me New York Times got a lot of credibility. That's what you're saying.
No, I just told you referenced the Heritage Foundation. Dude, come on.
That's the Daily Signal. That's the Daily Signal.
And who owns them?
I don't even know who owns Daily Signal.
Heritage Foundation.
Okay, great.
I've done their show, so that's an in-house organization. Here's what I'm telling you.
But by the way, go to another site to give 27 out of 30.
Here's the deal. I'm going back, which you still won't even answer. And this is what I'm telling you. You can't even show me. Now I'm going to use Mississippi. Since Mississippi has the highest concentration of black people of any state in America, where Republicans have ruled that state. Since the Mississippi Constitutional Convention in 1891, not a single African American has been elected statewide in Mississippi. So, if Republicans control the governor's mansion, the legislature in Mississippi, how then, since you talk about the policies, how is it the lives of African Americans have not improved in Mississippi? If you say the Democrats, it's their policies, tell me how it hasn't improved in Mississippi.
Roland, until you give me your answers on the questions I've asked,
I gave you an answer.
You're going to go to one specific example.
No,
and this is what I will tell you.
Mississippi,
here's
Florida,
what I will tell you.
Arkansas, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. I've given you multiple states.
You still haven't answered the question.
I answered your question.
No, you have not.
No, you don't like the answer.
No, you have not answered the question.
I have.
You blamed and deflected.
You don't like the answer.
What is the answer?
You don't like the answer.
What's the answer?
I gave you multiple
Your answer is, tell me about Memphis. It's deflect. That's a deflection.
So first of all, I never even brought up Memphis.
Who did you? Not Memphis. Mississippi. You deflect.
No, I'm giving you an example.
Of what?
No, because since you
haven't explained 27 out of 30.
Let me say it again.
You haven't explained.
Let me say it again.
59 years you've had the vote.
You say, and I'm telling you.
What have you done about it?
Since you said, oh my God, you Democratic votes, show me in Republican red as states how they have improved the lives of African Americans. Show me.
Roland. Roland, I don't think you understand what I'm saying to you right now.
I understand what you're saying.
Let me ask a question for you. What is your method of helping Black African Americans? Go ahead, tell us.
First and foremost, when we talk about helping African Americans, I'm going to acknowledge what is systemic and
what is systemic.
Systemic.
Yeah, define it.
Systemic is when you have the housing appraisal. Yeah. That's systemic. Okay. Systemic is when you have a higher proportion, 4 to 5 times, of Black children who are being expelled or arrested in school compared to white kids. That's systemic. Okay. Now, no. You asked how. First and foremost, we have what's community. We have what's systemic, what's community-based, which means the village, or also what is individual. When you start talking about how do you make transformations in this country, first and foremost, you have to deal with the 2 most important things: health, and you deal with the issue of education. When Republicans and conservatives were talking about getting rid of Roe v. Wade, I literally said, okay, gotcha. And I had Ben Watson, the former NFL player, come on. He did a documentary on the issue of abortion. And I said, Ben, here's the fundamental problem when I hear pro-life. I said, they're not pro-life. They're anti-abortion. I said, because the people who are so-called pro-life, I said, show me the policies when they confront the infant mortality rate among African Americans. Show me when they confront the higher number of Black women who are dying in childbirth, the people who are having children. He said, you can't. They literally can't. And so that's an example. When we talk about, again, health, we're talking about prenatal care, we talk about those issues. That means that if you're a Black child and you have a higher incident of Black women who are dying in childbirth, and see, it ain't just a money thing. Serena Williams talked about, with all her money, how she almost died in childbirth because white doctors were not listening to her. Do you know the opioid crisis, why it initially was killing more white people? You know why?
Tell us.
Because doctors in America, the studies showed it. Doctors were saying, we're not going to prescribe the opioids to African Americans because we think they're coming to us for drugs. So y'all got to take Tylenol. So they were overprescribing OxyContin and all these powerful meds. And I said, well, my goodness, thank God the one time racism benefited Black people, and we were not overprescribed OxyContin and other pills. The white death rate has the average length of whites living in America has dropped largely because of the opioid crisis. So that's systemic. That is systemic in your system.
How do we fix the sex? So systemic.
Well, first of all, the way you fix anything systemic, you even acknowledge that it's systemic. That's first. 2, then you have to have your data, and then be able to go in and say, okay, let's now confront the reality of what we're facing. You cannot have in schools where you have largely white teachers who don't know how to handle Black kids, whose automatic call is call the cops. Where you now have kids who are in kindergarten and first grade who now are being handcuffed and now taken down to jail. What you have to deal with is, in a school system, how do you deal with those children, but also where they're coming from? What's one of the issues? I talked to numerous superintendents and teachers. One of the biggest things is that kids are coming to school hungry. When Republicans, when you talk about food, you talk about food and talk about poor, when they wanted to cut SNAP benefits, I was sitting here going, now explain that to me. How we got the richest, prosperous country in the world, and we want to cut food benefits to folk who are hungry? Kids, teachers, principals, superintendents have said one of the biggest things that we're facing are kids who literally are coming to school who are hungry. That's why they can't study. Probably got discipline problems. So now, okay, how do we deal with that? We have to acknowledge that even exists. What we can't do is, from a macro political level, go, these folks, y'all just don't want to work. It's called the working poor for a reason. They are working. I'm not going to just throw people under the bus and go, you're just ignorant. You don't want to work. I'm acknowledging the fact of the matter is, when the Republican governor of Alabama, about 10 years ago, he wanted to change the tax code, and he used Jesus as the model. He said, folks, in Alabama, they were taxing the poor. They were taxing people beginning at $4,600. I think it was $4,600. Or was it $9,600? He said, these are poor people. He used evangelicals, white conservative evangelicals. He's campaigning. Jesus talked about how we help the poor, blah, 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 blah. He went through this whole deal. When it came time to vote, what you think happened? Lost 65-35. So the same folk who love Jesus, the same folk who holler, oh, I'm pro-life and I love me some Jesus and I'm an evangelical. No, when it came to that, no, they voted with a pocketbook because they were saying, those broke poor people. A Republican governor, a conservative evangelical, they said, no, it's our pocketbook. The problem we have in this country is we are frauds when we talk about we care about the poor. We are fraudulent when we say that.
Both sides.
And what happens is, I said America.
Yeah.
I said America. That includes everybody. Wow. And so what then happens is our economic policies screw them, and then we go, why you should pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. When the reality is,
you think some politicians don't want to get blacks out of their financial, some of these bad communities? You don't think they want them to become independent, making money? You think some people would like to keep them where they're at?
Let me be clear. In America, yes. In America, yes. Because it's reflected in our policies. Have Reverend William Barber from the Poor People's Campaign. And this is not just,
if it's reflected in,
and it's not just race.
Roland.
It's not just race.
Roland, look,
because there's more broke white folks in America than black.
When you run a business and you have 40,000 agents nationwide, and they're Hispanic, 54% Hispanic, 24% African American. This is our business. I have offices in Memphis. I have offices in Mississippi.
Okay.
I have offices in Chicago. I have offices in, South Side. I can go offices in. I was just in Calverton. Where's Calverton? Where is Calverton? Calverton's in Baltimore or D.C. I have offices in. I go to I have offices in Tallahassee. I have offices everywhere. Okay. And I go visit these places. Okay. Because it's what I need to do to go check on these folks. You have to realize 60% of our company, they're Democrats.
Okay.
Point I'm trying to make to you
that ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
But it does to me because
Of course it does.
Well, yeah, you're saying it in a sarcastic way. I'll tell you in my way. Because I want to find out what we can do to improve. And if the data improves, Republican policies are doing better, which they haven't had a chance to do because they haven't had to vote for 59
That's a lie.
years.
That's a lie.
92% has been voting Democrat for 59 years.
Right here. You act as if Republicans haven't won.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying to you here.
If you're a Republican and you win, are African Americans still your constituent? No.
Trump made a lot of progress in your community. For 15.
Hold on, stop. Where? Where?
Income? You want me to pull up the stats for you?
Pull it up. Yeah. We had a net loss of jobs.
Net loss of jobs. You counted COVID. Don't do that when you count COVID.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Stop.
Don't bring up COVID and say net loss of jobs.
Wait a minute. So you don't bring up COVID.
Oh, my God. You're going to say. By the way, that's what you just did.
No. Do we not bring up
what you just did?
That's a
validate
for three.
What you just did validates why that article about the appraisals being this, that's exactly what you just did.
No, it's not.
Doesn't tell the whole story.
Here's the deal here. Here's the deal. I love this here. This is what I love about this. I love about when people, again, go, let's take out what happened. I know he was president, not just him. Same thing, Obama. If we take out 2009, 2010, okay, oh, my God, this is what it looks like. I can't ignore 09 and 10. We can't go, well, my goodness, I know we had a war when FDR was president. Look, when you the president, you get the good and you get the bad. The assessment is overall.
So pre global pandemic.
But hold up, one second.
He wasn't helping African Americans. He didn't. He was. Unemployment, everything wasn't going up during Trump in the first 3 years. So once the pandemic hit, that was bad news.
Are we now saying that the president is responsible and gets credit for unemployment and being low? Are we saying that?
I'm saying every policy that he was doing to help African Americans. No, what you said.
No, you said every policy.
Once the pandemic
I said name
hit.
the policy.
Once the pandemic hit.
I said name the policy. You said unemployment rate. That's not a policy. Because the reality right now is unemployment rate right now at the lowest in 54 years, including Trump. The black unemployment rate, lowest in 54 years, including Trump. I'm asking, you said Trump helping policies. I'm asking you what policies.
I didn't say policies. I said helping African Americans.
No. You said policies. Can you name them? I'm waiting.
What I said to you is
Can you name the policy?
What I said to you is the following. I said 59 years.
Got it.
You've had this vote.
And
how come you haven't made bigger progress
so in the same
years?
59 years.
You're going to say Republicans have had the House, Senate, and the presidency.
Wait. Let me ask you a question. If a Republican wins, are black folks still constituents?
Of course.
Okay.
Sure.
So when Republicans have won, show me, again, Republicans, whether we're talking about state, city, county, state, governor, or legislature, and Congress, show me how lives of black people have improved. I've asked you, there are 10 or more southern states.
When you turn on every single news and every single personality that says Republican doesn't want the good for you, it's the Democrats that are here to help you.
Here's the deal.
Yeah, you've had 59 years.
And Republicans in the same 59 years have been elected, and what did they do?
92% of the vote you've had for 59 years.
And in the same 59 years, they won.
Yeah.
But you simply are ignoring that.
But how much has improved? 27 out of 30 cities.
And I'm asking you, in those same cities, in those same states, who are still constituents?
Yeah.
Here's the thing that, again, and this is what was you, for some reason, I don't know, like it was a block in your brain. If you are Republican, and I've said this to African Americans, you vote for somebody and your person don't win, you are still a constituent. And the reality is, you are. You're still a constituent.
It's so funny because
Ted Cruz gave an interview yesterday when he was jammed up by Margaret Brennan about, Ted, how are you supporting a 2-term limit in the United States Senate running for your 3rd term? He goes, well, because the 30 million Texans want me there. No, it's a lot of Texans who didn't want you there, but we're still constituents. So the question still comes is, Senator Ted Cruz, what are you doing for African Americans? I can't act as if, you're acting as if Republicans have no responsibility, don't have to do any policies, that even when they win,
those are your words.
Even when they win, it's all on Democrats. And what I'm telling you is, what we're dealing with in this country, you have one party that historically, over the last 50 plus years, has just completely, like, I ain't even talking to you. I ain't talking to you. That's what you've had. Over here, you've had Democrats who have had some policies, have had talk. Let me be real clear, because I've jammed them up on many things. Absolutely should be doing more when we talk about rate of return. I jammed up President Obama directly, saying, I'm not just excited because you're the first black president, you're still the 44th president. And what I'm telling you is, because you won't answer that question, even in the places where Republicans have complete control, what are their policies?
What do you want from them, though? You want them to do what? You want CRT is what you want?
Here's what
would you like from them? What would you like from them?
I love how you just want to throw that up. Here's what I want. I want them to treat black folks and Latinos or anybody who did not vote for them as constituents.
They are.
What I don't. No, they're not.
You think Democrats are treating Republicans as constituents? Wait.
No, excuse me.
You think Democrats are treating Republicans as constituents?
Nice deflection.
What la-la land do you live in?
No, you're in the la-la land.
Yeah.
When Governor Tate Reeves of Mississippi said, and proudly said, when I was the treasurer of Mississippi, I purposely didn't send funds to Jackson, Mississippi. But now he wants to complain about the water crisis. Well, dude, what? You were the treasurer. You neglected resources. What city supplies more of the state's revenue in Mississippi? Jackson. What supplies more of the sales tax revenue? Jackson. But you wanted to deny the resources to the very same city. That's Republican. And what I'm telling you is, and I don't know why you just somehow like rose-colored. The issue I'm saying is this here. If Republicans want to be like Missouri, show me, fine, show me. But I'm telling you, I don't know how many black Republicans you've sat with, but I've sat with a hell of a whole lot. And their great frustration is their own party won't even listen to them. Have you ever talked to Michael Steele?
Roland,
I'm just asking. You ever talked to Michael Steele?
I have not. I would not have a problem having him on.
Okay, he was a brother who actually ran the Republican National Committee.
Yeah.
And he will openly tell you, of the absolute frustration he had with Republican leaders on the very same thing that we're talking about.
So let me ask you a different question.
So you can yell Democrats all day. I'm telling you, black Republicans.
I got you. You've had 59 years and 27 out of 30. But
and Republicans have been elected in, say,
27 out
years.
of 30 cities. So
there we go.
Here's a question for you. During COVID, what state do you think handled COVID the best?
Well, we say handle COVID the best.
Yeah, which one? Which one's policies handled COVID the best?
When you say handle COVID the best, you had, first of all, you got to break that thing. You had testing, you had your vaccine, then you had your mask, then you had your businesses. I think different states did things well. The greatest problem was that they were left to their own devices because of gross ignorance coming out of the White House.
Be specific with the states. Which ones?
First of all, I'm unpacking it. First of all,
I'm all ears.
First of all, when you had states that were forced to compete for equipment, and that was just stupid. Again, you had failure of leadership. So when I look at the various states, when I look at what California did, some things good. When I look at
what?
Excuse me. Oh,
are you going to get to it? To see what they did good?
I said I'm walking through it.
Okay.
Some of the lockdowns they had were good. When I look at some of the mask mandates that took place in places like Georgia, were good. When I look at some of the places in Florida, good. When I look at some of the policies that took place in New York State, were good, because it was based upon nursing homes. It was based upon hospitals. That was such a, again, the problem that we had statewide was that you had such gross neglect federally that it was disjointed all around the country. When you had Maryland like flying private planes and trying to find equipment and doing stuff along those lines, and they were able to get some of that sort of stuff. So you had Republican governors, Democratic governors in different states who were doing things well.
You still haven't told me. Wait a minute. Wait. I interrupted you, hoping you would say it. You said what California did good with the lockdown. You said Georgia mask. You didn't say anything about New York, what they did right, and what Florida did.
No. What I said.
You didn't say what Florida did right, what New York did right.
I actually did. And I said in New York in terms of what they were doing with their nursing homes, hospitals, and the restaurants.
How about Florida?
Florida, same thing. Some of the mask mandates, and also when it came to testing. What the problems that we saw, again, was that this thing was so fast moving, and again, no real federal leadership. So these states were left to like fend for themselves. Yeah. And I think one of the greatest, most shameful thing is when you had states that were overpaying for goods and services when it should have been run through the federal government and actually streamlined. States should not have been competing against one another and fighting for equipment. When Maryland, what Republican Governor Hogan was doing in Maryland, trying to compete against Democratic governor in Virginia, competing against a Democratic governor in New York, competing against a Republican governor in Florida, that was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But again, there were some very good things. Thank God we had folks who ramped up testing facilities, who were using stadiums and things along those lines. And so those things were good. But there were a lot of things that were bad.
Let me ask you.
Again, there was some good, a lot of bad.
Roland, how do you judge data, specific to data? How do you judge the best country to live in with the best opportunities?
Well, here's the deal. When you say that, there are numerous factors there.
Sure.
So you go economic, you go health, you go education, you go quality of living, you go environment, you go all of that.
Yeah.
And so there are reports or studies done that America's not at the top. There are other countries. Now here's the deal. We go, oh my God, that's not us. Are there other countries better educationally than the United States? Yes. When it comes to our healthcare system, some parts of our system, great. I'm from Houston. Texas Medical Center, MD Anderson, Cancer Institute, tops in the country.
Sure.
The other aspect, awful. What I recognize is that we ain't perfect. We're good, we're great in areas, but we aren't great in other areas. When we complain about human rights abuses in China, we act like police violence don't happen here. The fact of the matter is...
It's a big difference.
Okay. Tell it to the person who got beat.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah, tell it to the person who got beat.
Tell it to the person.
tell the person who had to bury a family member due to police violence. But go ahead.
Don't pin the position as a person not being sympathetic to the loss.
I didn't say not being sympathetic.
Yeah,
I'm saying when your child or your son or your daughter's been beaten and killed.
I lived in
what?
I lived in a country called Iran at a time where you couldn't tell people you were Christian, and trust me, it's not a place to be.
Well,
it's a very big difference between China and U.S.
Trust me. I've interviewed enough mothers and fathers who've had children who've been the victims of police violence who will say, guess what? They didn't live in Iran, but their child is still dead.
Right. I agree. That's catastrophic on what happened. I saw the video on Tyre Nichols, what happened. I had a hard time watching.
And you know what I haven't heard? And I keep asking my Republican friends this here. The billions that we spend every year on police settlements, do you know who I rarely hear saying anything? Fiscal conservatives.
Let me come back.
I wonder why.
We'll finish. How about we finish it off with that?
That's fine.
Right, let's stay on this topic here. You said judging a great country, right?
Right.
And you said all those different things. Okay, great. How do you judge a great restaurant?
Well, customer service.
Okay.
Cleanliness.
Yeah.
Quality of food.
Yeah.
Ambiance.
Mm-hmm.
Some places it's the music.
Yeah.
All depends on what you like.
What's your favorite food? What do you like?
Oh, first of all, my grandpa's from Louisiana. It's gumbo.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'm good with that. Okay.
It's gumbo.
So when you see, what is the most packed restaurant where you're at right now? Packed restaurant, like Friday night is jam-packed.
It could be the hole in the wall with great food.
Yep.
It could be STK. It could be Prime 112.
There you go.
Hell, I'm from Texas, and it's 2:00 in the morning. Damn it, it's Whataburger.
There you go. Okay.
So it don't even matter.
I'm with you.
So it ain't no Michelin. It's just
totally with you.
Time and place.
Time and place.
I'm totally with you.
And who the hell is open?
I'm with you. So, but a part of it comes down
and not
to,
In and Out. Whataburger.
So, well, listen, this is Team In and Out here. Just want to let you know.
The hell with In and Out.
And we're willing to compromise with Five Guys.
I don't want salad dressing on my damn burger.
By the way, have you tried Five Guys or no?
I tried Five Guys, but it ain't Whataburger. I don't want salad dressing on my burger.
I can't do Whataburger.
It's either mustard.
I can't do it.
It's ketchup.
I lived in Texas 5 years. I can't do it.
See, that's right.
But here's the part.
I'm glad you left. I'm glad you left. I'm Team Whataburger, damn it.
You left as well.
No, I didn't.
Where are you living at?
I'm a registered voter in Texas.
But where are you living?
I still own my house. I live in both places.
Nah, come on now. Now you. No, I ask you when were you?
No, I'm trying to tell you.
Stop it.
I'm trying to tell you.
So let me go back to this. The way to judge.
I still pay them damn property taxes.
The way
trying to tell me where I live.
The way to judge. You're also paying state taxes in Texas, which I'm sure you appreciate.
No, actually, you're not. You don't pay state taxes in Texas.
That's the point. So you like the state taxes. You're paying the taxes.
No, I'm just stating you don't pay state income taxes.
Of course I know.
I'm just
you don't
stating
pay
a policy.
I get that, and that's. I would much rather pay Texas a state income taxes than Virginia.
Yeah, but you still have a hell of a lot of property taxes too.
So nowhere.
And hospital district taxes and school taxes.
Would you flip it? Would you rather pay the property or the state taxes?
Actually, it's all based upon. Actually, I looked at both, and it's really based upon. No, I'm trying to tell you, it's based upon where you actually live. I'm trying to tell you.
State. So you would take 13% state taxes of California and pay lower real estate?
Nice trick trying to go to California. You mentioned Virginia and Texas. What I'm saying is, when I look at both of them, I'm looking at priorities in those places and what you're actually paying.
Let's stay on this here. Okay, so
you chose to go there.
The way to judge a great country, to me, one of the best factors is immigration. Okay? America leads it with 41 million. Okay, China's losing. They're net. People are leaving. Russia's losing. People are leaving.
Actually, first of all, they're not leaving. China's one-child policy 30 years ago screwed them.
No, but they're also leaving. It's both.
But it's their birth.
You're right, but they're also leaving.
Yeah, but the deal is, if you were still having kids, you're not worried about who's leaving.
But people are leaving.
They had kids.
You're right, but people are leaving.
I don't know who the hell thought that was a good idea. And guess what?
The fact that they can stop you.
You can't catch up.
Yeah. So here's the other part. So the other part is when you look at policies during COVID, who did it best? What's the best way to gauge it? You said those things, those items, right?
Again, there is no best way to gauge it because that is going to be subjective. It's what do you think was most important? Do you think vaccines? Do you think keeping businesses open? Do you think testing? What was most important? Do you think mask updates? It's all based upon.
There's no way to reason with you. There's no way to reason with you.
I'm just simply not agreeing with you. There are different ways to assess what you think is best based upon priority.
So let me ask you. So you watch sports?
Yes.
What do you like?
What do you mean what I like?
Are you going Eagles or Chiefs?
I don't give a damn about either one. I'm from Houston.
So you're Houston. So
I am born and raised in Houston. I don't care who wins.
Astros.
He's an Astros fan.
I just said Houston.
Okay,
what does Houston mean?
So I got you.
Anybody in Houston.
Right. So
I don't give a damn who wins.
So does the score at the end, is it subjective?
No.
There's a score.
There's a score.
Okay. So is there a way to have a score on what state handled the best?
No, it's not.
Really?
Because there is, but it is still subjective because that will be weighing however you want to apportion. In football, it's simple. 6 points for a touchdown, 1 point for a PAT, 3 points for a field goal, 2 for a safety. Okay, that's the deal. Over here, it's subjective. It's whoever is deciding.
I am just curious to know what you're going to
is.
say with this. So the fact that California had its first net loss to population since 1851 and that New York lost 330, is there any of that that's subjective to you?
Why people leave? People leave for various reasons.
First time since 1851 California had a net loss. Okay.
And right now here's the whole deal. I look at what happens. So, for instance, when we were talking about, which is the basis of my book, White Fear, we're talking about nation becoming a majority minority country by 2043. Why is that? White folks stop having kids. Okay, why is that? Why is the average death rate among white Americans higher in 12 states than the average birth rate? When something happens, I'm going back to you and your housing appraisal. I didn't see the data. You have to ask the then question, why? Why is this happening? Why is the Rust Belt losing population? One of the reasons the Rust Belt is losing population because when you get the great migration of African Americans from the south to the north, where were they going? Chicago. They were going to Gary, Indiana. They were going to Detroit. They were going to St. Louis and those places. What has been happening? There have been people who are like, you know what? We can move back home, land issues. And so when I'm looking at something, I'm then go, okay, why are they leaving? Not just, they're leaving. I can't assign it to COVID. I can't assign it to just this. I need to know why people are leaving. Have they been surveyed?
Can you pull up Power versus Force? Just pull up Power versus Force. I just want to show something to you. This book changed my life. I would recommend, go to Images. Go to Images if you can. I just want to, this book is a life-changing book. Oprah Winfrey talked about this a long time ago. Go to the one that says the color, bottom left. Yeah, that one right there. So it explains different levels that we go through. Mm-hmm. Shame at the bottom, which is the lowest level of consciousness. Then it's guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason. Then you got love, joy, peace, enlightenment. Okay? I feel like you can't be wrong at all. Okay, and it's mathematically impossible to have a conversation to say, I think this is where we got it wrong. Here's where we could do this. Here
Why?
We can do that. I don't know if there's an ability to say, I can see how we can improve in this area. I can see how we can improve in that area based on the conversation I'm having with you.
But you run a company. We do the exact same thing in companies. The reality is this here. When I'm looking at a show, folks go like, was that a great show?
Oh, I think they'll say this is a great show.
No. Follow me. No, what I'm saying,
right?
Because I own a company,
right?
If somebody goes, Roland, that was a great show. To them, that was a great show. To me, I'm looking at the show a different way.
Right.
I'm looking at graphics, speed of playing clips. Sure. I'm looking at that. So I may not say it's a great show. That's why I'm saying it is subjective based upon who is answering that particular question. And so you may have numerous studies or surveys. Just like I love these surveys when they say the cities with the best food. You go, huh? How the hell is that city number 3? I've been there. Again, it's subjective. And so that's all I'm saying. When I'm looking at something like your question about COVID, it varies depending upon what you think was the most important thing. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying that city was awful. That state was bad.
You, first time California has lost its population since 1851. You said because whites are not having babies?
No. That's not what I said. No, that's not what I said. Say again, no.
What did you say?
No.
What did you say?
Are you actually actively listening?
I am 100% listening.
This is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when something happens, like losing this X number of people since this. My first thing is, why? You haven't said that. You haven't said it. Why? It's the second question. You got to be deeper than mustard on a hot dog. Okay?
Yeah.
Again, for me, when I see something, I go, why? When I remember watching 60 Minutes and China's one-child deal. I was kind of like, it might look good right now, but trust me, it's going to catch up. So a couple months ago, when I saw they were complaining about the lack of folks working in manufacturing facilities, and I was like, you can trace what's happening with China's population right now to that one-child policy, because that's 30 years of kids never being born. So what I'm saying is, we got to be deeper than just throw it out there.
We try to.
We got to ask the question, why?
It's not possible. I've been asking you.
It's not true.
Why question?
When you threw out crime, I walked through when you I specifically said, here are the reasons why.
Why? It's Austin's fault. It's Republicans' fault.
I didn't actually.
It's the state's fault. It's this. There was no answer. So
it was answers. You just didn't like the answer.
No, it's not. I don't like the answers. I'm genuinely trying to find out what policies are going to make this better, or step out of the way and see what happens.
I told you. You asked the question, and I say it point blank. If you're talking about how do you impact African Americans and how do you change, I walk you through 4 of them. I was very specific. Economics, education.
Systemic was your first.
Well, obviously systemic, because systemic is actually what's driving the macro. Okay,
yeah.
So you got to deal with that.
Yeah.
You got to. So again, economics.
Mm-hmm.
You got to deal with health.
Yeah.
Education, housing. Those are the fundamental 4. During the first Reconstruction period after slavery, 10 to 12 years, 1865 to 1877, you had probably the greatest growth, if you will, in terms of African American community. But it didn't last long, because the Great Compromise of 1877, which then ushered in Jim Crow for 92 years. Then you had your second Reconstruction, which was the Black Freedom Movement, some call it the Civil Rights Movement, 1955 to 1968. Those were laws being changed. In the first one, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. In the second, Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, Fair Housing Act. The problem with those two is that economics wasn't one. The Freedmen's Bank was created during the Reconstruction period. Guess what? What is now estimated, based upon Henry Louis Skipgate's documentary, $3 billion in black assets were essentially wasted or stolen and was never a bank bailout. $3 billion. What would the black community look like if that $3 billion wasn't essentially stolen? What would the black community today look like if Tulsa wasn't burned down, if Rosewood wasn't burned down? What would black community look like today if African Americans who own land in the South were not run out of cities and towns, leaving land threatened by the Klan with death? What would that look like? And what I'm laying out to you is that's history. You talk about Iran, okay? We helped overthrow Mossadegh in 1953. They were pissed off with that crap in 1979. You know what Americans do? It's a damn shame what happened to our embassy in 1979. Well, we can't act like what happened in 53 didn't matter, because you were 18 in 53. You were middle-aged when you were in 1979. What I'm saying is, when I'm looking at the condition, I can't be narrow in looking at it. I have to look at how that was created. And if I deny how it's created, I can't have a real conversation on how to fix it.
Yeah. So,
but I gave you 4.
Right. So Tyre Nichols, first time you saw it, what was your reaction? First, you heard the story, then when they released the video, what was your reaction?
Actually, it was not shocked. In fact, they described it as worse than Rodney King, and I thought that. But when I saw it, and again, I had his daughter, Rodney King's daughter, on my show. I'm not comparing the two. It wasn't as worse as Rodney King, but it was still pathetically awful. Mm-hmm. Rodney King lived. Tyre Nichols died 3 days later, but Rodney King also died early because of the massive trauma he sustained, the head trauma, and had physical ailments for the rest of his life. So, but the thing I also realized is why that didn't shock me. Folks like, it were black cops. I'm like, oh, y'all thought it was a black-white thing? It's always been a blue thing. Always been a blue thing. because we have to deal with what happens in police departments. I've talked to too many chiefs who are greatly frustrated because people think, oh, change the police chief. You know, in any company, you can be the CEO, give an order. But if you're middle management, don't force it to happen. And the next level doesn't happen. We have to, and all this, we got good apples and bad apples. It's BS. Because what's the fundamental thing that happens in police departments? What do they say? Let's get rid of stop snitching. The greatest don't snitch is in police departments. Cops are scared. Cops won't come forward to call another cop out because they're going to get ostracized. That's an issue. I've long said, if you have body cameras and dash cams, if that cop turns it off or doesn't turn it on, automatic firing. Why are you turning it off? Why are you not turning it on? In Chicago, they were breaking the antennas off of the dash cams so it wouldn't record.
Yeah.
Those cops were doing that. Why did Anita Alvarez and why Lori Lightfoot get elected? Because they held that Laquan McDonald tape for a whole damn year knowing the cops were lying. Knowing they were lying. And when that video was released, we actually saw. So we see too often in this country where cops are lying on police reports. Look at the Tyre Nichols police report. Oh, he was sweating profusely. He was abusive. Then we see the body cam footage. So what does that tell you when you see case after case after case after case of cops lying on reports, of body camera videos showing this here? You have a systemic problem. And then the answer isn't just, hey, let's have more training. No, I believe what retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey said. There's got to be annual, she says every 2 year, mental evaluations of police officers. There are people, they got a badge and a gun. Man, the power that they have, think about it. They have the power to literally take your life and go back to work. I believe if you got that kind of power, that comes with great responsibility, and I don't play around with that. And it's just, we got to deal with this here because last year, the most people killed by cops in history was last year. Why? How do we change it? How do we fix it? How do we change somebody, the white guy who's partially blind coming from jury duty, and they walk up to him, I think that was here in Florida, I think, and, hey, you got a weapon. No, I got my blind stick. And they literally arrest the dude. He was just coming from jury duty. Mm-hmm. There are cops that abuse their power. We got to deal with that. And we got to just be honest about it.
Yeah, I was a victim of police brutality when I want to say 16 years old, Halloween, hands on the car. And I remember seeing hands on the car, mistaken identity. A rookie comes out of the car, kicks my ankle, and almost breaks my ankle. I agree with the only thing that sucks when you come to this is they're human beings at the end of the day. So when we have, I don't know, let's say how many cops are in America? Let's say 5 million, right, Roland? In that 5 million, I don't care how much we're going to do and how much we're going to train. The human element is still there, which it just sucks unless we're going to have robots at some point.
Here's the deal. You have the human element.
Yes.
But what we have to do is stop acting like, well, I think it was in Connecticut.
That's where I was. That's where mine happened.
It was a black guy. This is the video. Get on your knees. He's literally, his hands up. He's going on his knees. Cops rear back, kicks him in the head, knocks him unconscious.
I saw that.
Goes to trial, not guilty.
Yep.
You're like, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, those cases.
Did y'all see? And so what happens is, and I can tell you, been in Chicago for 6 years. When they came in, the Justice Department, cops are like, oh, yeah, we regularly will use the N-word. Yeah, they admitted, we would pick up a gang member and we would drop them off in a rival neighborhood just to see what happens. Okay, I know you think it's a gang member. What the hell? The Holman Street facility where lawyers didn't even know that their clients were being held. You're like, that's why when I'm talking about China. It's like, what the hell? When Chicago had to pay out $40 million in reparations because John Byrd took Vietnam-era tactics and was attaching electrical cords to the testicles of these men to force confessions, and they knew it all of these years. these guys were sitting in prison for 10 and 15, 20 years, and they knew it was forced confession. There was a judge in Chicago a couple of years ago, maybe it was a year ago. He got so pissed. He had 8 cops who were flat out lying. The judge went to the Police Accountability Board and said, these cops are flat out lying on the witness stand. The judge was so offended. That's why Kim Fox, that's why Sharon Brayboy and Prince George, they literally say these cops they will never take the stand because they are known lies. Yeah. Now, so again, somebody will say, well, Roland, look, it's not all cops, but you don't want your kid to be on the receiving end of that lying cop. That is what has to change in this country. The problem is folks are like, well, but it's just a few. You're like, a few? Cleveland's under its 2nd consent decree in 10 years. Dude, what the hell? And again, it is a power thing.
You know what I like the most? You know what I like the most?
Power thing.
What I think, by the way, there is the power thing. I had a friend of mine who was a cop, who was the sweetest guy. When he became a cop, every year he got more and more and more and more like, let me tell you who I am and all this stuff. Right. And I'm like, you know what? I said, one day I sat him down, I said, listen, you're not the same guy. I said, I don't like the way you're talking to your girl. You seem like a little too hardcore right now. This wasn't you. You were the sweetest guy we had here. And finally he got fired. He literally got fired. But the reason why he got fired was for a different reason. It was for steroids. But he got fired. And
that product
added to the
that product not explain that damn
aggression. Not using it.
Distributing it.
Distributing
it.
God. Yeah. So anyway, so it didn't work out. Okay, and he got out. And we'd have the conversation. I think the best thing that if you think about accountability-wise, the last 10 years, when it comes onto issues like this, no invention has been more to hold everybody accountable than camera phones. Think about what that's done. The fact that you are able to record and you see the story and the camera on the cops.
It's
getting a lot better.
The first police department it was Rialto, California, and when they went to body cameras, there was a 77% drop in the number of reports filed against cop for police abuse, and it was a drop in the number of reports of the cops claiming folks were attacking them. Yes, because you had the cameras.
Great, I love that.
The problem that we still but here's the deal. But the cameras are not the panacea. They are a tool. But what's not? You said the phone. But what's now happening in various states like Arizona? Oh, we're going to pass laws. You can't record us. See, now it's like or no. You got to be.
What's the reasoning? What did they say the reason is?
It's always a BS reason, but we know why. What happens is you don't want to get recorded, and so it was. And we talk about the power of the phone.
Yeah,
I'm flying. I don't know where the hell I'm flying. I'm going through Chicago. There's a shoe shine stand, but no person is there. So this guy is sitting like on the
where they shine the shoe. I got you.
Sitting there, sitting in one of the seats.
Yeah.
So he's on FaceTime, I think, with his wife or daughter or somebody. So I walk up. I said, "Excuse me, I want to take a seat." Fuck you.
Jesus.
No, you're not sitting down here. Fuck you. I go, "Excuse me." I go, "I'm sorry. Who are you talking to?" He stands up. "You're not fucking sitting here." I go, "Let me get airport police." I said, "I'm not about dealing with you today." Mm-hmm. And so then, okay. And so he goes, I said, "Let me explain something to you. You're lucky I have all of the grace of Jesus today." I said, "I could have pulled my phone out and I could have made your ass real popular in 30 seconds. Do you know how lucky you are today?" Well, I said, no. I want you to understand. Now, mind you, while I'm talking, "Hey, Roland, love your work. Hey, black guy come, white guy walk by, white. Hey, now all of a sudden he's like," I said, "Do you understand I got 4 million followers? You almost lost your job today." "Oh, no. I'm sorry, you can sit down." I said, no. You need to ask yourself, why did you decide just to cuss me out? I said, you lucky I didn't pull one of my 2 phones out. there's a lot of these places, they don't want people recording because they don't want the truth. And that's my problem when the bills. Now, if you want to say, hey, you can't be in 3 feet.
That's fine.
Yeah, because you're saying no, that's not what a lot of these folks are trying to do. They don't want.
This is Arizona?
I think it's Arizona.
Is it passed?
Yeah. Oh, it passed. And more states are looking at that because they don't want that accountability. Mm-hmm. And it's increasing. And again, I've supported body cameras, but I've also said, if you're a cop, the moment you get in that car, click, it's on, everything's recorded. I don't know if y'all saw the story where the cops didn't realize their body cameras were on and they were stealing money.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. Yeah,
and they went.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's already it's a wrap at that point.
Well, that's how I think it was insane. The female cop, she was busted using the N-word because the body cameras were recorded.
Yep.
Okay, and again, I just simply say, if you turn it on,
it's 8 feet.
Off.
It's 8 feet of the police.
Yeah,
that's what.
Because at that point, because
so you can record, they just don't want you to be within 8 feet.
And I agree because Roland.
But though some states were actually talking about blocking people from actually
recording, which is ridiculous.
Saying
that's ridiculous.
It's interfering with their official police duty. That to me, I'm saying that's wrong.
Yeah,
there has to be accountability.
I think camera is keeping all of us honest and.
But the problem is, after you might have that video.
Yeah.
But still, now you got to get to, is the DA going to take it to the grand jury? Because it's a lot of DAs don't want to piss off cops.
Yeah, but you know what's changed today.
And then you go, let's say you do go to trial, like the Connecticut story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There have been examples where you're sitting at home going, look, I don't know how in the hell this guy's going to get off. But a jury, it's because in this country, we give so much authority to police. So much authority to police that people, the human part, which is why, and a lot of times, the charges will get downgraded by the jury. Yeah, we're not comfortable convicting them on 1st degree or 2nd degree murder. So let's take it down to manslaughter. And so we still have this thing in America here. Yeah, but it's the cops.
You know why I disagree? Let me tell you why.
Juries have said it.
No, I understand juries said it, but here's the Here's the progress. My biggest thing is progress. I think we're making a lot of progress.
I think
we're making a lot of progress.
Hold up. Why?
I'll tell you. I think we're making a lot of progress because it's preventing both sides to make up any stories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So say the jury says, nah, we're not going to do it. No problem. Just post it on Facebook.
Hold up.
Post it on Facebook. Post it on Twitter. It gets millions on top of millions of views.
But it doesn't matter, though, if we see the video. Again, I'm using a Connecticut example. We see the video. It gets posted. They go to trial. Found not guilty. And you're going, how did y'all see? What were y'all looking at? And so then it becomes that person was never held accountable. Then it becomes like Tamir Rice.
That's areas we need to. That's areas.
But I asked you. You said it's improving, but why?
Wait. So to ask me the question, why not? You're saying it's not.
No. I'm not saying that.
Why is it improving?
What I'm saying.
I gave you my answer.
Go ahead. What do you think it is?
Because publicly you can't deny what we saw. When the video came out for Tyre Nichols, that day nobody was a Republican, Democrat, Independent.
Because here's the deal. Examples like that.
Yeah.
It just flat out. But like even the Fraternal Order of Police released a statement, which they never do. Here's actually why it's gotten better. Because I'm about to drive you crazy. It's gotten better because
Lightfoot.
No, because of activists on the ground that have been demanding accountability.
Antifa.
No, you said Antifa. That have been demanding accountability. That have been going to those city council meetings, those state legislatures. And we started throwing out hardcore right-wing prosecutors. And you begin to have prosecutors. No.
So that's why.
No. I'm trying to tell you.
Can you please send those activists to those 27 cities?
I'm trying to tell you. First of all, you clearly don't understand about Chicago because they've been on Lightfoot's ass from day one.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is activists.
But she gets reelected because of politicians.
Dude, first of all, the polling right now shows in 4th place.
I know, I saw that. Which is good.
Yeah, but you trust me.
Which is
good.
She's
look. I know what's happening on the ground in Chicago. You ain't understand that. Here's the deal. Activists have played a role in changing public perception. A huge role. And so we cannot, I love people who want to deny the role of activism and marches and protesting, but that's a huge reason why public perception
all you
is
want.
changing.
Just don't hurt your cities and go into, Louis Vuitton stores and anything like that. If you don't do that, go for it. Keep doing it.
Well, here's
you know what I like about what Tyre Nichols' mom said? Here's what I like about what Tyre Nichols' mom said. She said, protest, but please don't hurt our cities.
Dude, we understand all that.
What a great thing she said.
Duh, but how about this? How about this here? Don't kill somebody, so we don't even get to that. See, I love folk who love say, "Oh my God, don't tear anything down, don't burn anything down." How about you don't kill anybody? Because here's the one thing here: you can run this.
Here we go.
Surprise me. I'll surprise you.
I don't think you will. I know what you could.
Do you know what was the precursor to nearly every riot in the 60s?
Tell me.
Police violence.
Okay.
Nearly every single one. Jimmy Lee Jackson and Selma, killed by cops. When you look at what happened in Detroit, what happened in L.A., what happened in Harlem.
It's 2023.
No. I'm giving you historical. I'm trying to walk you through what preceded the riots. In nearly every case, it was police violence. Even Dr. King, when he went to L.A. after the Watts riots, he thought, I thought Los Angeles was the land of golden opportunity. He did not realize how deep the racism was in Los Angeles. What I'm saying is we should be thankful for the people who took to the streets, the activists, the folks who rallied around Black Lives Matter, the people who organized and protested, because the system has to change. And the system only changes when the people put pressure on the system.
If the activists are listening, please go to those 27 cities and demand change.
And
I'm begging you. Please go to those 27 out of 30 cities,
because they also are there
to go to those cities. They need help, man. Seriously.
Those same activists.
Contact our friend Roland here. Get the list of 27 cities and go to them.
I've actually talked to them. They are there. And they're in Mississippi fighting the worst penitentiaries there as well, where Republicans are running it.
Roland,
and Tennessee.
Let me tell you what I like.
And Georgia.
Let me tell you what I like.
Arkansas.
Let me tell you what I like about
and
today.
Tennessee.
You know what
and
I like
Texas.
about what I like about today? I like the fact that you came. Period. But let me tell you why I respect that. Because
I didn't. That was the
on Twitter. This is how it started. Twitter was I asked and I said, "Hey, who would you like to see on the podcast next?"
Okay.
And then your name was tagged. Invite Roland. You never want. And then you said anytime, any place. And I said book them. And then boom. By the way, we don't even do podcasts on Mondays. But he just booked. He says, we got it on Monday, and you coming out having this conversation.
Yeah, I was honored by the Trayvon Martin Foundation last night.
I think the audience won today, okay, for listening to this conversation.
And you know what's going to happen.
What?
Yeah.
They're going to say, damn, Roland was right. It was killing us. I'm letting you know.
I think they're going to say, this man's got the biggest ego in media.
No, they're going to say, you weren't listening. He kept answering your question.
Well, I think the people I want to hear from are the people in the middle who both disagreed with me and with you. The people who agree with everything you say, who agree with you, I'm not entertaining.
I'm just letting you know right now.
And the people that are on the other side,
I'm just letting you right now. The middle's going to disagree. They're going to agree with me. I'm just letting you know right now.
The who is?
The middle. And the right. I'm just letting you know right now.
The middle's going to agree with you.
I'm trying to let you down right now, because it's going to be rough for you.
You think so?
You're going to be like, damn, what more could I have done?
I don't know if I agree with you.
I guarantee you.
But you know what? The fact that I know you need it more than I do, because my confidence is okay, I'll give it to you.
No, I don't need it.
You're right.
Because here's the deal.
You are right, Roland.
Here's the deal.
You are right.
Here's what you understand.
You're amazing.
No, here's what you understand.
You're the greatest.
Here's the thing. I didn't even pull y'all up. No, seriously.
Yeah.
I didn't. When my publicist, she was like, oh, here are the topics. I was like, I don't need the topics. I'm like, I don't care what. You understand. When I was at CNN, Bill Bennett, it was supposed to be James Carville and me, and Bill Bennett goes, I'm not going on. It's 2 against 1. I was like, Bill, you a punk. I said, Bill, if it's 5 against 1, I said, I feel sorry for y'all 5. I said, why are you scared? So for me,
you had a rough showing today.
So for me,
this was a rough showing for you today.
Oh, not at all.
Oh, it was a rough.
Oh,
showing.
not at all.
You've done better than today.
Not at all.
You've done much better than today.
Not at all.
I know you don't want to hear it because you've been like this since 3rd grade, but you had a rough day today.
No, I didn't. I had a great day.
Okay.
Because guess what? We still world champs.
But they did cheat against the. Come on, let's be honest. They cheated and they all got in trouble and nothing really happened to any of them.
And did the Yankees have a letter sent to them that they fought not to be released? In fact, didn't Will Clark say, hell, if you ain't cheating, you ain't playing?
I don't agree with any of that.
But guess what? Who whooped that ass this year?
I don't want to talk about that.
Thank you.
Once a cheater, always a cheater.
Roland,
Right. Y'all, just
greatest.
got that broken stadium y'all got here in Miami.
Greatest rocket of all time.
Greatest rocket of all time?
All time.
Oh, easy. Hakeem Olajuwon.
Okay, good. I was.
Okay, we agree with that.
Second is Moses Malone.
Oh, wow.
Third is Calvin Murphy. All three in the Hall of Fame.
Interesting. Fourth
Fourth is, some will say, James Harden.
I wouldn't
Curious
be
to know
mad
who
at
he
that.
puts ahead of him. I mean, I don't know if you count Drexler at the end. You would probably put Harden ahead of him.
No, you can't put Drexler. Drexler played most of his career in Portland.
That's right.
He only played down. No, I would put Harden fourth. Now, some would put Harden before Calvin Murphy, but I wouldn't.
So you don't even count Barkley for that one or two seasons he played. It's got to be majority.
How?
I got you.
How do you count?
Okay.
Look, no. Rick Barry played for the Rockets. I wouldn't count Rick Barry.
Greatest defender. Rockets.
Greatest defender for the Rockets. Oh, it's Olajuwon. Olajuwon is the only center in the top 10 in steals all time.
Wow.
Didn't he one time get a quadruple double?
And tops in block shots. Oh no, he is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has talked about
his defense.
Dude,
quadruple doubles ridiculous.
Dude, no, Olajuwon in terms of just pure defense.
Sick.
Do we have a book? Roland, if you don't mind sharing with us your book, White Fear.
How the browning of America is making white folks lose their minds. Like this conversation. Losing their minds. Because I cut right to the chase of unpacking all of this stuff that's going on right now and this fear, oh my God, again, the utter nonsense of a critical race theory and this silly stuff with DeSantis and woke. No, what it is that folks, I mean, they don't want to accept that America is changing and you can't do anything about it. Guess what? 2043 is coming. You stop having kids. It ain't my fault. But the bottom line is we're seeing it play out in policy decisions. And what it was always, economic anxiety. No, you have to call it what it is. And that's not a conservative thing. I didn't say GOP white fear. I said white fear. It's real and it's playing out in our policies. Because remember, January 6th, why was Trump pissed off? He kept calling out 4 cities. Atlanta, Milwaukee, Philly, Detroit. What those 4 cities got in common? Black people. Only place in Wisconsin that had a partial recount, Milwaukee. His official in Michigan said, let's count all the votes in Michigan except Detroit. Oh, it's real. And when folks have been reading, they go, damn, I didn't actually connect those dots. It's happening. We have to have a conversation again about understanding power, the power dynamics.
Who do you think's going to win in 2000? Who think's going to be the 24 front runner? Who think's going to win?
You literally have no idea. Remember 2016, who did everybody say were going to likely be the top 2 candidates? Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty and Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. Who the first 2 that dropped out?
Both.
Tim Pawlenty and Scott Walker. Yeah. No, literally. That's the one thing that, look, 2020, who had the 2 highest rated town halls on MSNBC and CNN? Kamala Harris. What happens? So again, when you run, Elizabeth Warren runs in 2020. She should have ran in 2016. I think Elizabeth Warren ran in 2016. She beats Hillary Clinton in the primaries.
Oh, wow.
Flat out. She missed her moment. Ted Kennedy told Obama in 2007, there's no guarantee that you're going to be hot later. You run at your hottest.
You're right.
And that's what he did. Kennedy realized it. He realized how he screwed it. But that's the whole deal. So you just can't.
Why DeSantis has to run.
Yeah, DeSantis has to run because he's hot.
But here's the deal, though. He runs. You're running against somebody who doesn't care. He has no bottom. People say, we reached the bottom. Trump has no bottom. He is literally, I don't think they're not, if you thought how he treated Christian and the rest of these cats in 16, no, he has no bottom. He will obliterate the party. And the problem is his core supporters, they'll roll with him. I think he would do a third party challenge if he doesn't win the nomination. That ego is that unbelievably crazy because for him, I got to destroy you.
Of course.
He ain't thinking party.
You're not like that at all.
They got to absolutely,
you got a little bit of Trump in you.
You got it out of your mind.
You got a little bit of Trump in you.
First of all,
is he kind of like hero?
First of all, if I had hell no. First of all, when I sat there in the White House,
tell me you don't read Art of the Deal like 5-6 times a year
because he didn't write it. He didn't write it. And we know he damn sure lied about the value of all his damn properties. But even in the White House when he met with TV anchors, I was sitting here going, this is an idiot sitting with a lot of damn power.
Man, you admire him this much.
You out of your mind. Look, first, okay, this is a true story. He walks in. And normally the president walks in, everybody stands up, everybody moves this way. I was like that scene out of The Simpsons. Like I went. So I backed up, and I was sitting there. I'm like, well, he got to come this way anyway. I'm like, I'm not walking to him. So he's shaking hands. And I'm like, I can't call this son of a bitch Mr. President. Then I went, hell, I can't call him Mr. So now I'm standing there like, what the hell am I gonna call this dude? No, he was.
That's crazy.
No, the man has no character.
That's crazy.
No. I told you point blank. When you show who you are, I don't want evil around me. And when he walked up to me, I went, hi.
You think he's evil?
Oh, hell yes.
Wow.
That man is absolutely evil.
Interesting.
When you will, the people who you work with, how you will destroy them, how you will treat them, that man is pure trash. But the people who care about power, first of all, you look at Christie. I'm like, dude, you kissed his ass so much, and he still talked about your weight, blew you off. Just dismissed you, and they kept coming back for more abuse.
Who do you think? If you had to, Roland, right now, pick who would be the number one Democratic person? Because I don't know. I don't believe in the Biden. I don't think, because they're openly trying to just destroy him right now with all these. He's running. Who would you say would be the number two guy then?
You can't. Here's it again.
If you had to guess,
I'm gonna say what I've said in the previous elections. The reason you can't even just throw it out there, so many things change. Who is the most? I would say the most effective communicator is Buttigieg. What's gonna happen? You a small town mayor, dude. It's gonna be held against you. Okay? Like it or not, him being gay, it's gonna be held against him by some people. Mm-hmm. It's a fact. Yep. All right. So then you you got Gretchen Whitmer, who's the governor of Michigan, who Biden was that close to picking as his VP. Mm-hmm. All right. And so you got other people out there. But the problem is, and this is the thing about when you run, you can look great on paper. You can have all the right. It's like hiring a candidate. Oh my God. Let's hire this person. And they get in the building and you're like, who the hell is this person? Like, what happened to the person we interviewed? So Fred Thompson, remember when he ran? Oh my God, it's Reagan again. The voice, he was the worst campaigner ever. Dudes in Iowa wanted to watch the Tennessee football game. He didn't want to go shake hands. It was awful. Campaigns expose everything about you, and again, you're great on paper. So Obama, everybody forgets. Obama was down 20 points to Hillary in October of 2007. Everybody forgets that. He was not breaking through until she screwed up the question about the driver's licenses for illegal immigrants at the debate in Iowa. That's what cracked the door open. Trump, he's not going to win. Biden, no way in the hell Joe's going to win. So think about it. Conventional wisdom means nothing because the voters at a certain period of time see things totally different, and conventional wisdom simply cannot predict any of that. So who looks great right now gets grinded in that system. And so you just got to go through 23. But I think absolutely, barring anything health-wise, Biden's running. He's the president. He controls the apparatus. And if you try to run against him, you're going to get screwed because bottom line is the apparatus is going to say, what the hell are you doing? You got to raise money. You got to have votes. And that's just not going to happen. I just think, again, anything health-wise, he's going to be the nominee. Wow. And all people talk about, Kamala's not going to be the vice president. Yes, she will.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be Biden, Harris. Again, barring anything health.
Got you.
It's Biden, Harris. Mm-hmm. They got to live with it. Yeah, he's going to be 82, but the bottom line is, hey, that's what happened when you elect somebody who's 78.
Roland, you didn't say anything about Newsom.
Huh? Yeah, no, Gavin?
Okay, why didn't I say Gavin Newsom? Gavin Newsom is not going to run. It will be political suicide. Suicide.
Why would you say that? I'm just curious.
Because he can't win.
But assume
it's a political suicide.
Assume Biden does have a health issue or maybe something.
Then it's wide open.
So then Newsom has a shot.
No. If Biden has a health issue,
right, that's what I'm asking.
The race is wide open. Will Vice President Kamala Harris run? Absolutely. This is if Biden has a health issue and he announces, I'm not seeking re-election, the Democratic race is wide open. There is no. Will Newsom jump in? Yes. Will Buttigieg jump in? Yes. Will Vice President Harris jump in? Yes. Will Whitmer likely jump in? Yes. Potentially Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania? Yes. I think Westmore and Shapiro will probably be in. They'll be too young because they'll be barely into their governorship. But, no. Folks are going to run. But he clears the deck right now. But health-wise, it's wide open.
Got you.
Great having you on, brother. This was great. Appreciate you. If you want to get his book, Robert, let's make sure we put it in the chat as well as in our description so people can get it. White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks
Lose Their Minds.
Lose their minds.
And that photo is from January 6th.
There you go.
Got cut to the chase.
Yes. We'll put the link below. Go order it. Roland, once again, thanks for coming
Also on Audible.
On Audible as well.
By the way, put the link to his podcast as well for
read.
people that can find his podcast too.
For those who can't read, we have an audio version for you.
You're so sweet for doing that. Take care, everybody.
Trying to help
Bye-bye,
people
bye-bye.
out.
Bye-bye.